to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Orderly, please get call on 8202. David Ray, 8202.
Should read the minutes.
Okay with minutes. I move to approve minutes Tuesday, October 15th as presented.
Have a second? I second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Carried 3-0. Let's see what we got today. Public hearing on 3, oh, okay, it's just 3 o'clock.
We need to go in there to repeal it of the solid waste fees.
I think Pat gave. Can we do that right now, or?
We can.
You need to adopt the interlocal agreement, I think you adopted it.
Where is that on here too?
That's the signature pages, I need to give you the whole thing.
This one?
Yeah,
And so we need a resolution number on it?
correct.
Okay, we're gonna go resolution number, Polly.
What one did I give you last Tuesday? What one was that?
1973.
I think it's 75, I don't know.
I gave you one to do a resolution.
You did, it was 1375.
For this one?
Well, that was the one for rescinding solid waste, I guess. So whichever one you adopt next should be 1375. So I would think 1375, and then would be the interlocal agreement, 1376 would be rescinding.
Okay, 1376 would be rescinding, 1375 would be.
Accepting the interlocal agreement.
Okay. Okay.
I would move that we would adopt resolution 2013-1375, the approval to approve the interlocal agreement between the municipalities concerning the use of the sales tax for joint communications and solid waste.
I second the motion. Authorized the chairman to sign.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any discussion? Carried 3-0.
back, or?
Yeah, the goal is so that each municipality
Gets
would
it.
have a regional, with regional signatures on it.
Okay, entertain a motion to adopt resolution 2013-1376, rescinding and repealing Ashland County, Kansas resolution number 2013-1366, abolishing solid waste fee.
Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Have a
Ordinance,
second?
please get calling 8202.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any discussion? Carried 3-0. This is the 22nd. Neighborhood revitalization, those are doing now.
What?
We need Jason here.
What?
I believe I drafted
Oh.
something.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
Is this all in school?
Yeah, they're not.
Yep.
So what do we have? What do we have?
I talked to Jay Zimmershed from Zimmershed Architectural,
Okay.
and they are good with the offer that they offered for 10% of construction costs, whichever is less.
For their engineering fee.
To let, for their total fee, yes.
Okay. So they need to send a contract for review?
I told them that, pending them saying, I was working on them, you guys would say, you would make a motion today to enter into contracts with them, and then they'll send us a contract.
Yeah, approved contract.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. We will likely make some changes to the standard architectural contract, so make sure you send that by us.
I always do.
Thank you.
We need a motion, no, second. Do we make a motion?
Yeah.
We'll make a motion to, enter into agreements, contractual services with, J. Zimmershed Architecture for reconstruction of EMS building.
Yeah, we're doing, training terms there, send it out.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any discussion? Carried 3-0. So, please contact Mr. Zimmershed and draft a contract and council review. Okay. What else we got?
With the, proposal joint communications, do you, are you more on the board as being director, you're being the assistant? Is that what you're thinking? Do you want to talk about that today? Do you want to talk about another day? With the resolution, having the board as director or not?
I think I'm all right with that, but I just don't know what kind of, time you wanna give her, and then also, our budget, we didn't budget for any extra pay, so.
There's
$4,000, I think.
Not enough.
Not in this budget.
There's no money left in this year.
board's the director, then
The board's not doing the work.
they would, they'd be doing the big administrative, budgetary side of it.
Should use the co-chair.
That would be one that's, you know, if you go changing that title, it changes drastically the position as far as like
What's the position?
scale, salary survey, I mean,
What's the position?
communications supervisor.
Director.
Well, I mean,
That's what it is currently, right?
there's an interim director right now, correct.
Okay. So what position are we filling?
Well, I thought we discussed that the board was being the director. I thought that
Well,
was.
that's what part of the discussion is, but what I'm asking is if there's no more money involved in it, what's the difference?
Well, that changes the scope and salary, I mean, now you've got a whole different,
There is no, you just said there was no extra salary.
well, we don't have it built in, but if you change to director title, I mean, that's where you change the whole,
There already
you've
is.
upgraded the position.
There's already a director. Interim director. I think the whole thing is, I mean, I have no problem with it being assistant director, but that person's still doing all the work, except maybe helping with the budget, ultimately. The same person has been doing this position for 7 years. Also, for no extra money. And whether it's I think it's just dragging our feet even longer on this. I mean, it's a joint communications director, or it's not. And the board is still ultimately in charge. I mean, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm not in agreement with the assistant director, but the board itself is still gonna be in charge of the person, whether they're the director, the assistant director, joint communications supervisor, whatever you wanna name it, but it's not creating a position, there's already that position there. And if we wanna dig back into it, currently, the current resolution states that the board appoints the director, and we've done that as a board. And we were told, well, no, we can't do that, because we're gonna redraft the whole new resolution, but technically, under the current resolution, we've done that. But we're holding off, and we all felt at the time that person, the person that's there is the person for the job, and there was no ifs, ands, or buts at the time. If you guys don't feel that that's a safe move, then, whatever, but the position's there, and if there's no money budgeted for it, so be it, I guess, but, it's still a position. And the interim director now is gonna be doing the same, the board will be doing the same job of what the interim director is doing now. So, what's the purpose of just dragging on a little longer and just get it done? And then in the future, we can budget for that.
Well, if you move her to assistant director, then you've got a supervisor. The way it's structured right now, you've got a supervisor role, you've got a director role. So then you bump that person up, so now you've got another position that you fill, and then, now your budget's.
We're not filling any positions. We move them into the director's position, move her into the director's position, and then there's no interim director anymore, and then
You'd have to have a supervisor. You're gonna have to have like either a shift supervisor, you're gonna have to have somebody that's like second in command when they're gone.
who is in command now?
We're talking about the near future.
The near future.
Who's in command now?
Right now, interim director.
Wrong.
That's the interim director's job.
And he's done what? What is he helped with budget, Jeff? I mean, come on,
We can,
let's look at this in reality.
we probably
She
need to
is-
executive session over this, but if we're gonna discuss personnel matters, we need to.
Probably.
So, 15 minutes? Okay. Entertain motion to go into executive session, 15 minutes, personal matters, non-elected personnel.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. So coming out at, 35 after?
Do you have the public hearing set to?
It's at 2. Make sure it's.
Well, the staff, you're gonna.
Got that, Mrs. Fett.
Were you
Yeah, we're putting on.
We're open to, 3:30.
Oh, how you doing?
We're having a conference call.
We're getting Friday out.
All we wanted to do is,
Yeah.
Not quite done yet, we're still waiting.
Chase was asking about that business.
Right.
There's one thing else I did.
Yeah.
What is it?
I want to know from the CED adopted or like,
So I think we got.
and then just go
Yeah,
let
we're
the
last week.
agent's office know.
We got that back in there.
And
We're signing this today, or?
the big factor is for the other one, right?
You put it back in the day.
Because we are waiting for the non-med, so we should do the meetings by the end of the week, or they do that special, they're planning on doing a special one on Monday, from putting it the Monday. Little close.
Yes,
Okay. So,
wish I could have done before the end of the month, don't we?
oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, at the very least.
And we're just going with the same plan we had before.
We have, everyone's agreed to renew it for 8 years instead of 4. And actually, review the changes.
That's wonderful.
We made a few changes
It's
that are.
such a pain to have to go back and back and back.
Yes, yes it is.
Hi, good, how are you doing?
These are the two major changes that everybody agreed to.
Can you do the minutes to
The first one, the residential model, is now a 7-year contract, 7 years,
Okay.
and more money up front, so that they get
Well,
81% rebate
Final,
back as
whatever
opposed
the
to
draft is, has to be approved.
63%.
So if you make an amendment, you have to go back.
We all agreed that, remodels,
Mm-hmm.
as the revitalizing areas, speaking to
Or
those.
we can do remodels and improve existing neighborhoods.
Mm.
That is so much more effective because we're not having to build new infrastructure.
Right.
So that's excellent.
That's the motivation behind that one.
Okay.
And then just another 95 instead of the 80,
Okay,
year 3.
okay.
So just a slight bump, and then 8 years. So
Great.
that's what we're doing.
That is, good job, good job. Is this for me?
Oh, you can keep it.
Can I keep that?
Yes, ma'am. So,
I'm gonna tell Gail that they're open now. Can she sit there with us? Thanks.
yeah, that is.
Well, here's your name.
Sorry.
That's okay, I'm out here.
Yeah, this is all with the phone. Okay, so you ready to, okay, good, bye. Do you need to sign this? Does he need to sign this?
I don't know what you.
We can't, because Benton Township hasn't signed.
Oh, so you're the last one to sign off?
Yeah, we'll be the one.
We'll be the last.
Okay, so
Once
just hold
Ben's
it,
signed, we're ready to go.
just hold it then?
Yeah, he's gonna try to get with them yet this week and then Monday. So I think we're gonna announce we have a special meeting on Monday for 9 to 12.
Yeah, because of KAC event, we're gonna have a meeting on Monday morning from 9 to noon. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a meeting until
November.
November 5th. Well, yeah, Tom Job sent me, they approved it, so that's in the affidavit, yeah. Well, they think a nominating committee, like, review it, and let me know specific by KC, by the KC.
And we could just a regular meeting on Monday, not called special meeting.
It's not a work session, it's
Just a regular meeting.
yeah.
Okay.
So there's not a work session in the morning?
Correct, no, yeah.
Could be just 9
9 to noon.
9 to noon.
Entertain motion to go into, sorry, go ahead. Entertain motion to go into public hearing on Atchison County Lake.
I'll second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried 3-0. Okay, we got several people here, just lay some ground rules, let's try and maintain, civility, at all times. We generally don't have an issue, but, let's try and remain civil to each other. We're gonna allow each person, a maximum of 5 minutes to give their opinion, or any questions or comments. All questions and comments should be directed towards the board of county commissioners, and, that pretty much sums it up. Any comments from the fellow commissioners?
No, I just want to submit several written testimonies in opposition to the record
Okay.
from constituents in my
And then
area.
we received another written one from Travis Grossman as well, so, with that, I would, open the floor to the first person that would like to speak on, comments for the Atchison County Lake. Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. McKee. What I understand is that this is about as if you were planning on selling the Atchison County Lake, am I correct?
Yeah, all we're doing is, we're just hearing, we haven't made any actions, we haven't taken anything, we've had some outside interest in purchasing Atchison County Lake, and so all we're doing at this point is just getting some comments from the public as far as, Atchison County Lake's use, whether it's acceptable, not acceptable, opinions for or against even considering it. That's basically where we're at.
Well, my only comment is, in 1981, when I moved back onto my home farm there, which is right on the Atchison County Lake.
Okay.
So
What's your name?
my name is Waylon Saxton.
Wait a second, okay.
And, anyway, at that time, in 1981, I approached the commissioners about buying the lake myself. And commissioners were in favor of it, but then they found that they legally could not sell that lake, being that it was a WPA project. It was federally funded, and I know that my grandparents were the ones that, under eminent domain, gave up about 300 acres for that lake. And they were also told that if the lake was ever given up, ever abandoned, that the land would go back to the original owners. And that's basically all I know. We've been there, my great-great-grandfather homesteaded there in 1861, so that's been Saxon property for a while. And, that's basically all I've got to say. I know Mr. Torkelson here has a lot more issues to go over, but, I think you're really opening up the bag of worms to try to sell that lake, because, number one, your surveys are completely wrong. I know for a fact that some of the roads are on private property that aren't on lake property, and you would have to do a survey on that place, and I think you'd be really surprised on what the lake actually does own and what's private property. And that's all I have to say about that.
Leon Torkelson, I also live on the lake there and so forth, been there for 70 years, I guess. Not living right there all the time, because I was gone for a period of time, but the parents owned the land there at the east end of the lake since 1944, so not as long as the Saxtons, but we're longtime residents, and of course, neighbor Holden Peterson's been there about 57 years. So, one of the reasons that, when I retired from the Air Force, after a 20-year career flying fighters, I decided to move back home, which You know, I looked at that as a good place to retire and so forth, so we kinda like the lake the way it is. Of course, there's some improvements that could be done, you know, we could put in some, water and electric and things like that and make it more attractive to campers and so forth, but, and then, of course, dredging the lake's always an option like Orton and Hiawatha, but I know that's expensive and so forth, but the property is nice and it's well maintained by the staffers and, it's in good shape and I'd like to see it remain the same, you know, there are a lot of people that use it. I just took some talking paper notes here, you know, Boy Scouts and saddle clubs, 4-H, reunions, both, family and class reunions, weddings, people that like primitive camping come out and use it. And of course, people that fish, and every weekend there's a bunch of ATVs that run around the lake there, so. And of course, canoeing is also allowable and so forth there. So there could be some improvements, and, because of the history of the lake, I think it's something to retain, although it's in the far northwest corner of the county, and people in Ashland probably don't come out very often, but it is a nice little place to get away. And, also, my dad, of course, was part of the construction crew for that lake in '35, with the team and the slip and all that sort of thing, so we have an interest in that respect. And then there have been some, there's also the Oregon Trail spur that goes through our property onto the lake and so forth, so it's not a moneymaker, I know that, but, you know, just selling it for saving a few dollars is, I don't like particularly, and of course, there are 10 families that I calculate have an interest in this sale, that is, at Oregon property. And 3 of us that live there are here today. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Homer Peterson, and I was 85 last month, and I remember very well when they were building it. In fact, there was one gentleman who worked with the WPA and helped my dad with harvest and haying and stuff when I was growing up 3 miles east of there and a mile north. And my wife and I were there 56 years, and she expired last December. But I had 3 messages on my answering machine when I got home this last weekend from being gone 3 or 4 days, that we were going to have a meeting about the lake. And I'm still in shock to think that this is a problem. And I understand the problem of finances, and I appreciate that. But the only concern that I have is that I don't know how in the world you would come to a decision how you would divide that up, and if to go back to former owners, we've only owned the property for 57 years, but and I only think it's about 4 acres that came up from our particular place, but it's never been a problem to me that the only problem I know would be somebody go knocking on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning and stuck out there, you know, but that's just called life. And I promised some of my neighbors that I would come because I'm here more to learn what's going on more than anything, so I have no particular axe to grind except that people ask me what's going on there, and I didn't have any answers, so thank you.
Thank you. That's kind of why we're all here. We wanted to have a public hearing to get comments and hear whatever he has to say.
I'm Charles Ulmer. I was wondering who the outside interest is.
We haven't divulged any names as far as outside interest.
And then, the other thing is, if you do sell it, how are you gonna sell it? I mean, what mode of sealed bid? How would you come about on a decision how to sell it?
We haven't even gotten to that point. We haven't even discussed that. All we've had is just strictly some outside interest in how to sell it, or if they have any interest to do it. We haven't even discussed as far as even gotten to that point. Literally, we're at the stage of we're just getting public comments and hearing as far as if we even proceed into looking into selling it.
So if you did decide to sell it, would you have another meeting to decide how you would sell it?
Oh, absolutely.
You would?
Mm-hmm.
what's that like cost us a year to maintain?
It's
Fifty to 60,000.
60,000.
Varies 50 to 60,000.
Well, that's not maintaining the road, though, is it?
That's not-
That does not include the road.
That doesn't count.
Well, even if you sold it, you still have to maintain the road, I would think. That's a county road.
Mhm.
And then what
I think
about,
about 65, 70 with that, well, that would make it.
The east and north, or the north and the south, I guess.
Hmm?
It should be with benefits.
He's looking at his route, 50,000.
Shows last year's budget of 4160, but that doesn't include.
You don't even have health benefits. and all
Yeah.
that stuff. This year's budget showing 49.3.
49.3.
Last year was 58.9 because we bought the mill.
So you'd add, essentially about 20, well, you'd add about 20 to two, so 69,000.
Roughly
Without road.
60,000.
Yeah, without road, let's exclude the road maintenance.
and what do we get back out of putting that much money in that lake every year? That's,
Zero.
Well, we get $1,800 from state for fishing, though.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's probably talking about like campers or.
Right.
Nothing.
why don't we charge to camp there?
I mean, that could be a possibility that we look at too. I mean, I think it's been flooded, it's hard to say what prior commissions have all done, but I think there's been some interest, or it seems like it changes every X amount of years as far as the usage, or if any usage fees at all. I mean, part of your problem is there aren't any modern facilities, like Mr. Torkelson was talking about, like water, electrical hookups, stuff like that. I would probably see people paying for that. If you're doing primitive camping, I'm guessing you probably aren't gonna get a whole lot of interest charging, or you probably wouldn't make anything essentially charging people to primitive camp. At least most state parks that I've ever seen generally would charge like an entrance fee, and that'd be about it. I mean, would you suggest, would that be a good idea to charge?
I go camping every weekend all summer long, but we go to Perry and I pay. I mean, I think it's fair that everybody should pay to use, something like that, it's public.
And we've had several people said they would pay a fee to camp there as long as it wasn't outrageous, they would, even just primitive camping.
Now, does taking care of that lake have any effect on my tax base that I pay?
Yes, I mean,
So-
it's part of our funds that go to maintain the lake.
So if we do a bunch of improvements, my tax base will go up then, right? I'll pay more taxes to keep the lake
If you
up,
do-
or,
Well, if we do improvements to the lake, I mean, it's tax exempt, so it really wouldn't drive up your tax base at all. The mill rate could possibly go up if you
right.
did more drastic improvements, I guess. It just depends on how far you wanna go with improvements. So if you modernize some stuff, yeah, that would increase our budget, so therefore it would increase taxes.
Has that lake ever been dredged?
No.
No.
Well, I'm neither for or against selling it,
Sure.
I just had a bunch of questions as to, I think it should be fair to everybody, whatever way decision you make. So, thanks.
Thank you. Yes.
My name is James Davies. I just, was wondering if maybe, a solution to the problem would be just to find a management service who would come in, make the improvements, take care of, charging people for whatever they do, whether it's fishing, camping, hunting. As we, know that, many farmers, lease their land out for, people to hunt on and such things. So, and with a management service that might have fresh ideas on how to go about it, and they would do it for a profit, and that way, it would take the burden off the people. I mean, it would be something that could be tried, and not necessarily it would work, but by them coming in and making improvements, it might make, and them managing it, they might be able to draw in more people to use the facilities, and that way increase the usage and pay for itself.
So you're just like maybe look into like outsourcing the guy like into.
What's your name?
James Davies.
Okay. Any other comments, questions?
Oh, are you ever planning on divulging who's gonna try to buy?
Well, I mean, at this time, no. I mean, until we actually have, contractually, I mean, in open session, we would have to, at some point divulge who we're selling it to, or enter into a contract at that point, but we haven't even gotten to that point. Like I said, we're literally here just having public comment as far as what to do.
I don't think you can legally sell it. I don't know what they've come up with, but the last I knew that the county can't sell it. Being a WPA project like that, you can abandon it, but you can't sell it.
Okay.
That's what I was told in '81, unless something has changed. That's what the district attorney told commissioners at that time. So that's kind of a moot point, as far as I'm concerned.
We have to probably inquire with that, maybe something to look into that.
Sure.
So the next steps would be notified in the newspaper, or how would the public be notified of the next step?
Yeah, we would notify multiple, both media outlets, our website. I mean, you're gonna be hearing about it as far as, I mean, I think what we're trying to do is just gather comments from here, and obviously we've got some possible legal things to look at before we can even get to that next step. But there'll be plenty of notification, like, this last one we gave, it was like 2 weeks notification. We have 2 weeks notification before today's meeting, so we would give people ample time to, we're not in any rush, we're not, having to do anything right away, so we're just kind of in the learning stages and hearing comment and feedback from you, the public, so. But yes, there'll be plenty of notice, newspaper, radio, website.
But our next notice won't be that you've entered into a contract with somebody to purchase it, right?
Correct, I don't think we're at that stage.
You'll have another meeting to decide on how you're gonna sell it.
Correct. Well, there's a lot of questions I think obviously need to be answered. I mean, as far as legality of selling it, I mean, yeah.
First we got checked.
Yeah, so, you're correct, there wouldn't be, the next immediate meeting would not be, we're selling. I think there's probably gonna be some more discussions as far as getting some more public comment and what we found out on our side. So there's a couple options, it sounds like some citizens have suggested too, maybe we haven't looked at either.
One thing too, it wouldn't be a bad idea if you decide to maintain the lake. It's not a bad idea to circulate a survey perhaps in the county that says what things could we do to improve the lake and usage and so forth. As a suggestion was made, maybe contract it out, or maybe do some improvements and so forth, and maybe come up with a little cash flow coming in and so forth. But as far as the improvements, that could be done with a survey.
And we've run into, there was a lot of people that didn't even know the lake was still owned by the county, or that it even was there. They got this lake confused with the state lake.
That's most of the comments and questions that I received was, why are we selling the county state lake? And I had to reiterate that they're on different ends of the county, one's in the northeast portion of the county, and one's in the northwest, so. Hopefully that's clarified at this point. I would hope that everybody knows which lake we're talking about.
Does anybody know how many people use that lake annually?
Without any permits or any type of gate, it's a wild guess.
We have people who come out and hunt, we have a lot of fishermen, we've had, 3 weddings this year, a class reunion, some family dinners and things. We've had, the Boy Scouts have been out there different times. We've had people come out canoeing and stuff like that. We've got some bird watchers that come out there and have said that we've got birds out there that they hadn't seen in this area before. We've had a large number of pelicans come out this year, and we've got a large variety of geese that come out, so people have been coming out to see all them. We have a lot of older people that all they can do is just drive through and look like that, or just sit in a vehicle. But it's got a variety of people that come out and use it according to what they can do.
We get a lot of road traffic, or just about this time of year, people just come around and see the leaves change the colors. There's a lot of old growth oak out there on that place, and
A lot of people come out and take pictures, school pictures this time of year.
yeah. I mean, it's being utilized.
How many campers do you usually get out there?
It just depends on the weather, you know, it just varies.
Like annually, like about how many people camp out overnight?
Several hundred sometimes
Yeah.
throughout the year.
What about what was the last holiday, Labor Day? Was there anybody out there Labor Day weekend camping?
We didn't have only 1 or 2 this year because of the weather. There was storms threatening and stuff, so we didn't have very many. And last year we had the drought, so we had, you know, it was dry and we didn't have a whole lot of people out there. But when the weather's good and everything, we have a lot of people out there.
Because of the drought, there wasn't a whole lot of lake out there.
No, the water's down, they couldn't have campfires because it's so, you know, the grass and the leaves and stuff, it's so easy for everything to catch on fire last year, so they didn't have a lot last year.
Been there 57 years, and last summer, the first time the creek below our house there was bone dry. We could walk across barefoot.
Nobody has control over that. Well, only one.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough year on everything.
Any of you local people have any guesstimation of how deep you think the lake is?
Sure, it's about 7, 8 foot deepest. I think the state has come out and stocked the fish, they netted the fish to see what, you know, how they're growing and all that. I mean, they would have a better idea, but that's what I've heard, it's about 7, 8 feet is about the deepest. I said dredging it would be a good deal. I know that costs more money, it costs a lot of money.
Does the lake have a drain valve on it?
It's a spillway,
No, I mean like a pipe through it like Warnock's got?
It does have a pipe that goes through it with that hand wheel.
Yeah, but the deal's broken all the way open, so we can't control the water flow. It needs fixed so we can control it, shut it down when it's dry to keep the water in.
Because that lake is actually spring fed. There's springs in the lake, there's springs that run into the lake. We have 2 springs on our property that run into the lake that even during the drought, those things ran 24/7. And, that's, you can tell that in the wintertime, you go out there and there's some ice on, you get a snow, look at all the wet spots out there on that snow, and every one of those wet spots. That spring's coming up. So, I mean, the water source is there. If we could control the flow of it, I mean, if the caretaker can control the flow of it and, shut it off when it starts getting low and open it up when it gets too full, that'd be a big help. I don't know what that would cost to fix that.
Yeah.
But it's all springy down in through there, it definitely is.
How long has it been broken?
Ever since we were there. We got there in the fall of 2008.
Okay.
So it's letting water out and can't shut it off, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that, yeah.
Probably a 6-inch pipe at least, isn't it?
Do what?
Probably at least a 6-inch pipe, is it, how big a pipe is it?
I don't know.
I think that's about what it is.
6 or 8. you go down it. 'Cause I remember years back.
Go down and you get a hard gate, I
Well,
can't do that.
well, I know it, when it was first built, something had went wrong, and my grandfather was actually the caretaker, and, it wouldn't open, and he actually, because there's like a ladder going down that building, like, he actually went down that ladder while water was rushing in to fix
Well,
that.
yeah, but there's differences still, like pipe versus the outlet pipe, there is probably a big,
Yeah.
you're probably looking at a 3 foot.
Well, yeah, and then the one that comes out below there's, it's about an 8 inch,
Okay.
comes out there. 'Cause when it comes up, it shoots water down there.
That's probably slower now too, though.
Oh, I'm after.
Letters
No,
up.
I just want them submitted to the commission for their review.
Yeah.
How many letters did you get?
Well, a couple of them had, 3 or 4 names.
Can we read them?
I've got to, my bad, in my rush to get here, I just came back from Topeka. I've got a petition that I've got over 50 signatures on, I can present to you. I do not want this lake sold.
So, letters I have here are from Travis Grossman, Rob and Dave Gaskell, Craig and Trudy Wisser? Wishra.
Yep.
And Al Schumacher.
Yeah, there was more people that wanted to come to the meeting, but because of harvest and because the time of day it was, they weren't able to come.
And that's why we sure encourage people written comments on. That's what we take into consideration as well.
We have an email, I think we have an email address set up now.
There's one set up on the website.
Well, there are springs all over the place down there. We have a watershed pond on our place that has never gone dry, and many of them last year did, because we all saw the places where people were cleaning them out because they could. And Evers well is in your property.
Yeah, well, that's another bag of worms you're talking about too. You was telling that you have water, lines running around that lake and good, which some of them go to Horton. We've got of course, we've got the Everest well on our place, that's where Everest gets all their water, is off the well off our place.
Well, sure, the easements, don't they?
Pardon?
We got easements.
Yeah, so they've got a lease on the well, yeah. But there's easements for the pipe and all that, so that's still there. I mean, Horton has, I think, 2 different wells on Atchison County property. There's 2 different well houses. But they found out it's not a good thing to dig a well next to an outhouse, so you'd think that'd be.
It's on the south side and goes under the lake.
Yeah, there's also, they have a well over on the south side, and then there's a line that goes underneath that lake, water line that goes underneath that lake and comes up and goes to Horton. That's where Horton gets their water too.
Good luck with that one, please.
That's interesting.
You have to watch that when you choose direction.
Yeah, that's right.
It's an interesting spot to put one.
Well, it helps fill the lake.
Yeah. Yeah. We should probably check into, I'm just curious to see what we've got in place. There's gotta be resolutions that authorize, which I would assume, there's gotta be some resolutions authorizing.
Yeah, sure. Roger had done that work, and he's gone and seen the workshop.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
so he's the one that done the work on the title and the things,
Okay,
so.
good. Okay. Any further comments? So this is, this is kind of just where we're at. Like I said, we haven't done anything other than this is the first, as far as just some public comments and hearings. So it sounds like we need to inquire with a few things, first, but we'll give due notice, at least 2 weeks' notice in advance as far as our next steps, as far as another public meeting, to get more feedback on what we found out from our side of it, and whether we proceed or we don't proceed.
Be sure you submit those names. That tape,
Yeah, I will,
submit those.
yeah.
You can either fax them on a fax machine, but you can either scan or.
I can just email them to you, no problem.
There's even a if we set up an email account. I do remember what that email.
I think it was late, yeah, and I don't know if it was.
Ashland County.
I don't know if it was Ashland County or the APKO.
Is it on the website?
So I was just trying to look. Oh, yeah, put up on there.
Yeah, you just give me the website, I will.
Or is it listed as a link on the web?
Well, the website is just atchisoncountyks.org.
Yeah.
But you don't have a link, it's not.
I don't see it on the front. I don't see it on the front of the website, unfortunately.
It's probably in this today. When you put it in flat.
Atchison County.
KS.org.
.org.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that so the email address is link@AtchisonCountyKS.org. That's the email. Any other comments?
I don't think it's their times.
Gail, do you have something else on here?
No, I think they all covered pretty much everything.
Okay. No further comments, I entertain a motion to
Close hearing.
close hearing.
We close hearings for Sarah Mass and Cannon Lake.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any discussion? Carried 3-0. I want to thank everyone for attending today. We appreciate your comments. Take care.
Hey, thanks guys on the rebate program. We
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
that. That's gonna be a good program.
We're still waiting on Benton Township.
Huh?
We're still waiting on Benton Township to sign, so we're trying to get them as best we can. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
hoping to have this thing done today.
That's what he was just giving it to me, I'm like, this, I'm glad we're going for just a little bit longer because it's
Well, and
a challenge every time we have to come back.
We're gonna meet on Monday next weekend because it's gonna be going to conference, and if they don't come, we're just gonna go ahead with it.
Without them?
Oh, without them.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
There's too much other to say.
Beautiful. Good, just can't stay away.
It's a lesson
I don't know.
told him that, you can get it.
walk in there.
Okay, we'll see you Monday. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
He's wanting to renovate his mall. He's wanting to renovate his mall. He wanted to know if we're gonna redo the revitalization. I said, well, I think so. And I said, what township? Well, he said, Benton, and his cousin, Dwayne, covers on that, so I'll give Lonnie a call. He'll get Dwayne on the ball. So, I'll step out and I'll call him.
No, that's fine, that's fine. So, Matt was up there first. Matt, what do you got?
I got lucky.
National sign, road sign, 643.62. Front tires for a dump truck and a boom truck is 2,376.06. It's all, state, pricing. Except for this one here is all one, these are actually, 2 recap tires for a grader. All the new tires, state contract price.
Yeah, I'm kind of,
American Roaders is, 300 foot of grain cable, so that was 1,068.
when you get two prices,
On what? Yeah. Actually, for the last couple of years, we ordered culverts or bridge pumps, we order, bulk. The last one here is for BG Consultants, it's 2,290.86, and it is the last payment on the HRR project, and, their maximum was $19,300, and they paid that, so this will be our last payment on the engineering services to BG. Actually, if you look, the total, they make it look like we're getting a deal, because, 2,484, but they had already maxed out their 19,300, so they had to knock a little bit of payment off there.
So like when like these like safety grants come up, I mean, there's lots of engineering firms, they just happen to be one that was, I mean, how does it work? So like, should we like do RFPs on stuff like this going forward, or?
Basically, the reason we went with BG is they're the ones that, went out and got the grant for us.
Okay.
And that's why they were awarded the
Okay.
contract.
Okay.
This wasn't something we pursued, they come and pursued us.
Yeah.
Are you planning on, wait and see how your budget is, are you planning on doing more work on the Arrington Bridge? The water level gets down before Wayne.
I went down and looked at it,
They're talking about, there is quite a bit of silt on the east side.
yeah,
I just don't know how.
if we can get in there, I have no problem with going down there and trying to do stuff. The last time I went down there, I didn't think we could get in there.
That's fine, I just fine, because they hit me up again, and I said, yeah, I said, we're gonna try to.
Yeah, if it continues to stay dry, I think we'll be able to get in there and do
And
some
I told
work.
him, I said, you guys are working on the road, other things going, and that was kind of priority at this point, it would take a heck of a storm or anything to dampen you right now and stuff, so.
Right, this time of year, you shouldn't have any of that, but you're having a hard time getting dry this time of year.
Well, that's a nice possibility, we just have to, do the best we can and stuff. It's one way, it is appeasing to some point that we've made an effort to try to clean it out, so. And that guy, keep his name, because that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I was shocked, actually. I was thinking it was gonna be
Half again, at least that much.
just to get them there, I figured it would be looking at least, $5,000-8,000. Asphalt for the, scale out at the transfer station, it was, $4,751.60. That was the asphalt in front for the approaches on the scale. And for the pad for the scale.
You got that for all your hands. That's good. Actually, that's pretty good for you. Thank you. Look at it.
Okay.
That's all there.
Good.
Give it my best.
We should probably check to see where our budget is for this project, just to make sure we're not.
Yeah, I should have give Chase a copy of
Is
that.
that included in,
Pardon?
a little over four thousand?
No, that was for the approaches, not the ramps. So, the approach from the ramp, yeah, it was outside of the scale bid. It was, work to be done, after the scale was, put in place. So, we're still, with the remaining utilities, that road work, and the scale bid, we're still under the second lowest bid. And we would have had to spend that money on whoever put the scale in, because we still had to do the approaches, we still had to do the, utilities hookups, so we're still on schedule.
Okay. Where we at total project wise,
What was it, 89,000 for the scale, 4,000 for the asphalt, and then depending on which configuration of bids you go with, it'll be 7,600 extra for sewer, electrical, and a safety committee compliant deck.
there's a cost for that office. I told you guys about the elimination of that, so.
Well, it's still, regardless of what bid we went with, we'd still have to spend that money because of that.
If you have full automation and it goes to the inside of the building, we would not have.
We still have to run the electrical and we still have to run the water because the FEMA trailer was not hooked up for electrical to receive, other than a generator, so.
Why would we add water to it? I thought it was just gonna be, it would go to the building. I guess I'm at a loss. We changed stuff? I mean.
It's further away and it's much cheaper just to tie it into the main line that's going to the main transfer building. So, and then we just did the sewer trenching just because we're gonna have two people at least, or one person at least, two people potentially working at that, scale house throughout the entire day, so.
Two people, same time?
Potentially, depending on what day it is, when we have to do invoicing, because all the invoicing is gonna be done at the scale house, so. Running heat and water and sewage through there.
I just got one more, sorry. Another engineering services from Schwab Eaton for, $1,225.
How's their service?
That's his last one.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
Where you at, I'll remember.
Basically, all the rock is down there, just putting getting the final layer all nice and smooth. If we have, in a week, if we would have 2 nice days, we'll go ahead and and seal it. We'll be ready.
It sounds like the rest of this week's supposed to be, I mean,
Yeah.
the next week then.
If we get, probably either last, Thursday and Friday of next week, or possibly, the next week after that, if we get 2 decent days, we'll go ahead and seal it, we'll be done with it. They're just, putting the final touches on it right now, just getting a, nice, smooth layer on it.
You're pretty much on the budget, what's your guess?
Yeah, yep. They're right on as far as rock, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had, put the final touches on it. There was one little soft spot that we still have up there that, they actually didn't get enough moisture in the base, and they're on that, so. But, looks pretty good. I drove there yesterday, looking pretty good.
How many tiles did you have to put in there?
I can't remember how many feet exactly it was, but, it was at least 400 or 500 feet of tile. Most of it, we ran a tile, parallel right down the bluff side of the road, and we just put drops, cutting it off to the east every so often. So all the wet part has a tile running parallel with the road right in the, about 8 feet in from the bluff
What about
side.
tiles underneath the road? Did you put any tiles? Is there any tiles underneath so that you're any water comes out of the hill? Or
Yeah, it's actually running,
perpendicular to the
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and, on a side note, I measured that thing that told me to, out by your place, it's 15 foot 6 inches from center to, and it's 40 foot right away. So it'd be 20 feet would be the right of way line.
But the auger, the bend's probably close, about right.
Probably pretty close.
But the auger is,
I bet the bend is actually a little bit, probably a foot in the right of way of the road. What's that?
Is it township or?
It's township road.
it's pointed out right here, which is correct.
Okay.
Oh, you are happy? You mean you have talked to Matt about that?
I say to me,
No, I don't think we've had anything back from, Hands yet, have we? Is that right? I don't think we've had anything back from them.
Okay.
As far as,
We ain't gonna hear nothing back from Cam until the township.
Yeah.
Last I heard from John was as soon as the township makes their decision, whether they're gonna keep the road, or they're gonna turn it over to us, and their hands is ready to go.
Well, we probably ought to meet with them, I know.
I'll be curious to see what happens after Monday night.
Is there a meeting Monday night?
It'll be the last Monday of the month.
The township meeting?
Yeah.
Where do they meet?
At somebody's house.
yeah, were they gonna do a hearing? Because a lot of the people that were here were wanting them to have.
They were gonna call and find out where they're gonna meet, and I think there was quite a few of them finally showing up at their meeting. So I'll be curious to see what happens after Monday night. Lancaster Township, we actually meet at, the firehouse in Lancaster, we don't meet at anybody's house, so.
Yeah, why don't they do like a church on it? I'm not sure about that.
They could.
That's how they've always met, with either at somebody's house.
Yeah, that's where most townships meet, because Houston's not much public. We don't have much public as we have, so.
In the last, 6 months, I've only had one visitor. I think after the last 4 months, we haven't had anybody, so.
I'd get some figures kind of prepared in case that we do take the road over, because what we would like to negotiate in the contract, if the county takes it over, is that you know, we don't want our hands totally locked at that money, that payment for that rock has to be, you know, solely for, that road. Now, whether we can, so in other words, I mean, I think we need to figure out, what does it cost to run a grader per mile each time? Because I think that we could use that money for that, we can justify transferring that to the road and bridge as long as you document. You know, if they're too hard, then, you know,
I
step
also
to it.
think we need to put in a contract with that pay, because they're not, their money they're gonna donate is rock, be competitive with the other quarries. You know, if they're $1 or $2 more a ton.
Well, the rock they're donating, that's just by the ton, that's not,
So that's not to do with the 10 cents.
no, that's something totally separate from 10 cents. For every
20,000?
20,000 ton,
We get 150 tons.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Right, we wouldn't have
the
that.
township, turns it over to the county if they do, I mean, we're starting from ground one, with the contract, I would think. Wouldn't it be, Pat?
Well, yeah, they,
If they haven't mentioned the fact, and it's a good idea, you know, right now, rock's around $10, and I can remember not too long ago, it was 6 or 7. So as that rock goes up, is that their premium or their payback, or what are they gonna, that 10 cents, is that gonna go up as well?
yeah, there's real good reason to have it as a percentage rather than as a,
Flat 10 cents.
right, yeah. Or to have it in, if, to have it in kind, to lower that number, or that percentage, and have the rock, because presumably the rock that you use there would come from, who would be the point of contact with
Colin Shealy,
But she has something else she wanted to add.
he's the trustee.
Who?
Colin Shealy.
Gail, did you have any other stuff?
I'll do that.
Okay.
Pretty sad.
Not listed on that.
We wrapped up. I don't
This is, it's Mount
I'm
Pleasant.
curious,
Oh, no, it's
if their land,
It is.
So, 913, you got it?
He was telling me his name.
66,600.
Yep. Kim wrote that on the
That's the
card.
alligator over
The Collins actually.
the tall guy.
with the glasses and the hat.
Okay, I don't remember,
Is
I
it?
don't remember him asking advice.
That gate, well, I call him gate, that's.
What do you say, 81?
We're gonna use his gate, but he goes by Wayland now, but,
That's what he recommended, so it's just like-
I didn't even think about his name.
Pat.
I thought about saying it.
There was a lot of names that was out of county, unless they own ground in Essex County. Is there signature on the petition?
well, the petition does say,
Yeah, it's just whatever way you want to give it. So, just for your consideration, whatever way you want to give it.
there's nothing binding,
No.
there's nothing that says, there's so many petitions, for instance, to vote or something like that.
I have a question, because as long as I've known, there was never any hunting allowed.
That's what I thought too. That was news to me when hunting out there.
Well, they used to have duck hunting, or
And the
they used to
ATV,
drop the
and the
line.
ATV was
I know there was I was up there
I don't think they
several years ago, somebody
It's
was
illegally
inquiring
driving on
about
the road with ATVs.
going on a raccoon hunting out there, and I know, I think they turned them down.
Well, that's what we do.
Wow.
That's what, you know, when they talk about surveying, that would be one thing. The road, I mean, you gotta, you know, depending on what surveys come up with, you know, you can always vacate your road, that's always a possibility, but there's a lot of questions that need to be.
Yeah, we get on, answer that.
Nothing new on the new paint, nothing new on the dusty.
New paint, it is in Topeka. I blew up his plans because he was wanting to deliver it to the mill next week, actually, and we go up KAC, so, he possibly might try the end of this week or possibly Monday. It just depends how quick they get it. They gotta do some things to it at their shop, I guess. But it's sitting in Topeka, it's right next to Shannon Township.
Well, they bought one.
Yeah, they bought one also. So it's close. What's that?
They can swear. I told one of their trustees, I said, you guys, tax base you guys got, you guys can afford it. I'd love to have their tax base in the township. My gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the richest out of all of them, I think.
They're 4 times what we are.
Yeah, 'cause they,
And
they catch part of the city, is that why, or?
Well, yeah, that part of it, but then there's just a lot of houses out there.
Right,
So,
yeah.
None of the cities included.
Well, I know, but they catch.
They catch urbanized
Yeah,
areas.
yeah, I call it.
Bungie, I think Bungie's technically in their township.
Mhm.
Yes, that's true.
Nothing new with the dirt bags.
All right. Good day.
Thank you.
Oh, can you do that?
Yes.
one.
What's that?
Excuse me for interrupting.
Oh, good.
KKG, early this year?
Yeah, it's, next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
So, yeah, special. Or what time?
They got their meeting.
Which
Oh,
town?
Get the rooms on.
Yeah.
So, I all drive on that,
Rooms, yes, if we had rooms. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Wanna go?
That's their year.
No, I think I'll pass.
You'll pass.
I can go in my place.
We'll give George your best, okay?
Okay, you do that.
Yeah.
That's your phone,
Larry just finished up the job with him down
Yeah,
there.
you said, I think you said earlier, they was working down there, yeah.
These are basically the same thing as last time, but they've been tweaked just a little bit.
Yeah. So we made a motion. I know, should we tell that? Oh, yeah, they'll notify, we'll go.
You know, actually, I don't see it. You were working on it. You texted me, you didn't see it.
Pretty good at discount, 3%. Yeah. Do we know what type of, what the warranty is? Or is this for just one, or is this for multiple
This
elevators?
is just for the courthouse. The sheriff's department wants to do their own, so. Our warranty is up on the 29th of this month. That will be a year of service and it's been in service.
So this is just a service agreement, this isn't an extension of warranty?
No, this is just, agreement to continue the maintenance on it, and it is material maintenance. It doesn't cover after hours, anything after hours or holidays. One was $200 and some, the other was $160 or something like that now.
And one of them had the, like a direct interface with the communication system on the elevator, was mentioned in the contract, and the other one wasn't.
The reason for that is they do, you can get it, even if you don't have a contract with them, then they will answer the phones. But for us, like I told them, right now we're going through 911 dispatch. So for us, that's who they wind up calling anyway, as long as the sheriff's department, as long as we do that.
Yeah, but there'd be no reason to do that.
Right. At this time, we've had one false call so far, 1 year or so.
Well, there was someone earlier today, you mentioned that we had some, so we had.
We've had some, issues with the door upstairs, they had to come like 3 times before.
Wasn't, they had to
So doesn't even have to-
something, door was on one quite high or something. They stayed too low before they got it mixed up something else.
That, no problem we've had is, what's that?
The old
Or
elevator.
the second?
The old elevator wasn't self-level, so it went over that 3/4 of an inch that you're allowed, level, because heat, contraction, weight of the elevator, all that makes a difference. But it's doing something.
Oh, yeah, this is the actual elevator.
Aside from the spot.
This is septic. Joe, on the back of, I think second to last page, it shows billing rate. So what exactly does the monthly charge or annual charge include if they're gonna be billing outside of it, I guess?
Going outside of it.
Yeah, they're listing billing rates, following your billing rates for 2014. Mechanic during normal business hours, $229.60 an hour. Mechanic after normal business hours and Saturday are $390.32 an hour. Mechanic on Sunday and holidays, $459.20.
What they're saying is if we call them after hours, which I had, they originally had it from 8:30 to 4:30. If you'll notice, there's a place to initial, but I had them change that to 5 o'clock, because the building's open till 5. But if you call them after 5 and you need something done to the elevator, and you want them here that night, it's going to be that overtime. And so on a holiday, it would be the other, the agreement won't cover holidays and after hours. This is during normal business hours only. But for the elevator here in the courthouse, at 5 o'clock, it should pretty well be done. And actually, they're gonna have to pay their guys a little bit of overtime to do that, because their union says 4:30 is overtime, so. There's a little bit to get that in there, but then you can extend it out to 5 o'clock.
So even though it says mechanic during normal business hours, the $229.60 isn't above and beyond the monthly or annual charge.
I think they're just kind of showing you what it would cost you if you don't have the service agreement, you want to come for that elevator. Or if it was something that wasn't covered, there's a list there of things that are not covered. I don't know which contract you're on, but both of them are basically about the same. I was not covered on page 6 of the gold service. And I had them include the batteries for emergency in there as well. They added that where, when they scratched through it, that means that it's covered now.
I know, it's a big old question, they need it October.
But anything on that not covered, that's what they will not cover. And there's quite a few things on it, but it's mostly things that
That could be a major.
It happens.
Yeah, that would be a major, major expense. Because that's filled in with concrete and everything, so I don't know that would be one to
I
jump.
don't know if it's not a major problem, what it explains.
There's only two companies that do elevators.
I could get more bids, but right now, this one is the manufacturer, and this other is one that has worked for us in the past. So those are the two that
They seem to be quite a little more modest in price, don't they?
quite a bit. They're about almost exactly half.
Almost,
This one here, this is actually the factory that, does this one. And this other was more or less like the local garage. Now, the guy that, this company, he has himself and one other person who's owned the company has. He did used to work for the factory, about 10 years ago before he started his own company. Everybody at the company brags about how good he was, you know, so there's nothing wrong with him, he's capable of doing the job. The only problem I can see between the two would be, you have two people rather than 20 or 30. So there's possibility of having longer time if somebody gets stranded in the elevator. You have a downtime if you need parts, you know, the factory's gonna get parts before this guy is. But, so I guess.
So you're leaning towards express elevator?
He's heading towards the.
Either way, I think they're both great, it's just how much do you want insurance if that elevator's gonna be up and running? Almost, you know. Express elevators almost.
Well, this one is, but this is.
Tyson Crump.
That's what I thought.
Express elevators, 75, I think the other was 139 or something.
And express is one in this factory, isn't it?
No, Express is the non-factory.
Okay.
Tyson Crump, that's the name of the elevator, just like a Ford car would be. That's the type of elevator we have.
They're $2.29 an hour versus $161.
Correct. And like I said, I think they'll both do a good job, they both have done a good job for us in the past. So I think both of them work on the elevator. And like I said, the only difference would be is one is much larger and has a much more manpower than the other, so. I mean, it's just how important is that elevator being right back up versus being down for 2 hours or 2.
How much upkeep do you require for elevator? Estimation, how much, probably? Very little.
Almost none. I would think it was almost none. I would think that other than routine inspections, it should be almost no problems with that elevator for at least 5 years. We did have a little bit of trouble with a door that they installed, and it went out 4 times before they got it fixed right. And it was just because it was worn ajar, it wouldn't close all the way right, and it wouldn't get quite adjusted right, and that was Tyson Crump that was working on it. Other than that, the elevator hasn't had any problems.
What's your recommendation?
I don't know, I mean, one is a lot cheaper, and you're just going to have, you may have the elevator down a little longer. Yes.
Probably be about the same distance, agency or, I mean, that's a, agency might be a touch closer.
You don't have any, so, if you have an idea about how many, if you have an idea about their service calls, I think you may have, you could kind of figure it out. You wouldn't have any calls for 5 years, per se, probably just about, as well go with the cheaper ones. Then if you have that major, if the thing gets older, you may want to go with a factory where you have parts that you might need. Sure, as heck you do that, there'll be much parts go out the first couple of years.
That's true, that's why I don't know what to tell you on which one.
And is he's the one that did work on the old elevator, is that right?
The one for Express used to work, because no one else would touch it. It was old, I think.
Our old elevator.
Yeah, the old elevator, no one else would touch it, they didn't want the liability.
Maybe you have to do it today.
Mhm.
I just don't think for 2 or 3 years should be a major issue.
So, I would have that maintenance, warranty would have been a lot longer than 1 year.
Yeah.
That's not very good.
Most construction stuff is 1 year, they put it on where it's more or less bumper, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
So they're on it for everything.
Yeah. Well, what do you wanna do, just like,
Also cheaper,
Lower price.
lower price.
so like ready to get Pat to, review?
I reviewed it, he sent it to me ahead of time, I reviewed that, other than made some comments back. This is not the one that had the automatic renewal.
Neither one has automatic renewal, I haven't changed it.
Okay.
Okay.
And they don't have what you want with
36.
the cash.
And that's at 36 months.
They're both at 36 months, but there's also a cash basis. So I'm not quite sure exactly what that means. I assume it means they could stop it at any time.
That means we could, yeah, commission could.
It's what our statute says, so it's, I mean, I think it's a matter of fairness of putting it in there so they know.
Right.
That's possibility.
I need a motion to,
Well, you gotta decide whether you're gonna go on monthly or you're gonna pay on a yearly basis to.
with a 3% annual discount. I think it makes complete sense to pay on annual discount.
Well, but do they have a, what they're gonna bill you?
They've got the total cost there.
Yeah, but I mean, January 1, are you gonna get the bill or?
I think they say in advance, so I think they're one as soon as,
We approve the agreement, they're gonna want payment on it.
and this goes into effect on the 30th.
Oh, I see, a week, it's gonna come out this year.
Unless you went quarterly, then you could pay a quarter and then pay the rest of the next year, then you would lose your 2%.
Benedict, if I've learned this from me.
Many facilities have elevators and Aston, if you pool resources together, leverage a good bit. Any further discussion, or we gonna,
Well, I assume we got money in capital general.
come out of maintenance? Come out of maintenance.
Do you
No,
have?
it's always been on county general, no courthouse general.
But wouldn't that be part of maintenance?
I don't have anything else for anything like that. There's a lot of things that come out of the courthouse general that I think should be in the maintenance budget, but it's not. Things like weather chemicals, that's a big expense, but it comes out of county general. That's the way it's been done.
Interesting.
There are a lot of things that go on in the courthouse that is put out different ways.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, that's gonna be going through.
Courthouse, county general capital outlay, you still got $9,000 there. I think just pay on, for.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. So need a motion?
I'll
make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3-2-0.
Who's going next?
Express elevator.
Express Elevator Company, the amount of $872.
Minus 3%.
I think they included 3%.
They included the 3%.
They did.
It said it, it said.
I didn't figure it out, but that's what they said, so. I need to check.
873 is what they said, that includes it.
It would be. It would be.
I know that's what they said, but I said I didn't look out for it.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, thank you.
expenditure between, capital, county general, capital.
Yeah, you'll have to submit, when we get the invoice, then we'll submit.
Give me a copy of the sign.
Yeah, Ron,
Yeah.
we got Ron here scheduled for 3, do you have something that you need to?
I just want to know, about our health insurance, if you guys decided anything on it, because as far as I understand, it runs out this month or something.
No, your sign-up date for that.
Yeah, renewal, if you're making any changes to your plan,
Okay.
you would, but we're gonna discuss it here probably about, half an hour. So, we'll have this decision officially made, so.
Okay,
So,
I was just wondering,
Yep.
did you bring stuff before this?
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. How's everybody?
Based on prior resolution, you probably want to know like a firm number for 2014.
Yeah, I'm not making a test out of myself, I know we're just trying to finalize our financing plans, and we just had a board meeting ourselves at
Okay.
in Benedict, and of course, they approved us doing a taxable bond issue in addition to the two bank qualified, in case, we don't get our full, in order to make sure that we've got the amount we need to finish the project. So, like you said, I'm just, in 2014, interested in knowing what the county might have as far as bank qualified tax exempt capacity for the college, and, we've sort of planned on, I think, 8 million, just to be safe, but I'll be honest with you, anything we can do above that means that we don't have to do taxable on it, it runs for the difference, so.
Okay. So basically, we need to give him, an answer, so any total debt obligations we have, plus any potential, issuance of debt in 2014. So now we gave easy for verbal approval of 8 million in 2000.
I think it's just simply what.
Yeah, they're wanting to try to know if we're gonna do, we aren't, he's wanting to know if we can do anything additional beyond 8 million.
Correct. I don't think we have to include what we have outstanding, I think it's only new issue.
It's only new issue, okay.
Yeah, so, it's only what you would want to borrow, work on next year,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, I think that would be just, he just figured it was.
Fifty right there, so.
Yeah, this much too,
Yeah, well, I was going off of.
Yeah, but we got some start here, this is
Yeah.
20 years. I think we better go with 8, just to be safe.
Oh, no, I think we've got that, I think we've got built that. No, that's already been included, I think, on the budget, I believe, ambulance on budget.
Not so sure, but there's a little bit there, but there's, the big savings we have on the building, it was say $20,000 a year.
What's this one?
Cook County, we don't have. All depends on what happens on those other stuff.
Okay.
You would have that, you may have to consider it like you.
I didn't do this stuff on it yet.
We have one building.
So, state
I don't know.
aid or?
Best state or at least.
Okay.
An email,
Yeah.
he said, it's okay with that, if we went on like the month after that.
Because it's, I did, I didn't say it, you know, so I.
Yeah.
Just now, it's not about it.
Where is your maintenance stuff now? It used to be a day. Oh,
Yeah, that's an easy one.
That's what most of them back there. Yeah, I think it's a big problem. Trucks and stuff.
We have 10 minutes. Okay.
That's Tracy. Tracy's stuff.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, well, we hadn't firmly set that, we were gonna do some more calculation.
Yeah, I had not.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, so, we're looking at roughly we're looking at 2 to 3 projects, at this time, depending on contingency and stuff like that. We're probably gonna have to stay probably at that 8 million allowance. Yeah, we're hoping, we're not sure, sometimes when you get some of those projects, you don't expect it to go over, but as far as, we've got a couple of other, they alluded to an ambulance, we've got a couple of ambulances that are not doing so hot, so that would, they aren't very cheap, unfortunately, they don't get those off the shelves.
Yeah, that's fine, I think we're, our business, I mean, that's kind of what we're
Yeah.
counting on, it's just, I'm looking at actually save as much as we could, or be able to do as much tax exempt as possible in order to, so.
We try helping out as much as as much as we can do.
Sure.
As we get into June or July of next year, we would, you might be able to shed some of that.
Yeah, I think, so the plan right now, the finance plan as we have, is we've completed the 4.7. $1 million bond issue, which is our 2013 B issue. In the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing that taxable issue, which is our 2013 C issue, and the board approved up to, I think the resolution was 2.5 million, although we probably don't need all that much, but I think that was just to be, we always do an up to amount, just to try to be careful. And I think that that has to be revised, you've already approved that, done a resolution?
Yes.
we have.
But we need to do a slight revision because it was a project description change on that, just, we added rec center into the, and the only reason we did was that we're trying to finish those baseball, softball fields, and we thought, well, as that issue, depending on what happens here, we might be able to do that, I'm not sure that that's available, so I mean, that'd be maybe a good point that we're gonna include that. And then our 2014 will be for the 8 million at this point. So.
Yeah, now you're talking about June, July, you're talking about rolling over into the following year, that 2000?
Next year, in June or July, we ought to know whether we're gonna spend that money if we're.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
So.
Okay.
And we probably are already actually gonna sell the 14 bonds, in November, we close in January, so it'd be nice, but, and maybe what we could do is if there was a lot of those 2013 C bonds sold, depending on what happens, we can always maybe to refinance for the tax at that point, so. Well, I appreciate your time and I know you guys tried.
Yeah, we'll try and do the best we can for BC, we just got some projects,
I
but
understand.
you had some pretty solid knowns, but there's just that some contingency stuff on some of it that we have to be prepared for, unfortunately, so.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Grant, for on.
his cousin Dwayne. I said, if you're wanting something done, I said, get ahold of your cousin tonight, either call me or call you, so that you guys can get something worked out, and then we'll act on this Monday.
Right. One thing that, we could communicate is, even if Benton, the township itself did not participate in the program, the county taxes and the USD 377 taxes will still participate in the program.
Yeah.
So, as far as it making a significant rebate change, not really, it's just, they participated in the past, so we would like to get them on, but,
Well, these, we got meeting Monday, let's give them, I mean, that's the ultimate date, that something between now and Monday has to be signed, and then we'll sign off and go. I mean, that's pushing it to the limit, but it's workable.
yeah, it definitely is. So,
But anyway, you gotta know Lonnie, he will be on his, because he wants that revitalization.
so,
Even if it's a small mill area,
right.
in Benton Township, he'll be on it, so.
So, I have some, bid proposals received for the three things that we need to do to finish and get the scale house operational. We need to hook up the electrical. That was kind of a task, because we had a FEMA trailer that wasn't readily set up. We could hook up to a line, just generator only, so, we had to do that, plus have a throw switch that we could convert back to a, generator if need be for emergency response. We also have the deck that, our safety committee weighed in on to get the proper dimensions, so we have that, and then the water and sewer. So, we received a total of 11 bids, and you're gonna have to forgive the chicken scratching, we just counted it all up.
We don't expect anything different from the rooster.
So, the bids were, basically, the only, company that, or the only bid that I didn't personally walk through was Brown Construction, but everybody else got the exact same instructions, as far as the deck, the exact same, dimensions and requirements that we have. So, as you go down the list, we have, first column is just the companies, second column is what they bid on, and then third column is the bid amounts. And I did ask everyone if they bid on multiple things to break it out, so that if they didn't get the deck, but they got the electrical, that we would have a number for, or they would have a number for us. So, after looking it over, and the bottom right box has the two lowest bids for everything. The deck, the low bid came in at $3,415, next lowest would be $3,740, so, about a $300, a pretty significant, difference. Electrical, there's only $185 difference, and then for the deck itself, it's about a $500 difference. So, my suggestion, since Falk and Sons, they bid on the sewer and water, and they also did bid on the electrical, and they were the low bid on the sewer and water, and they were the second lowest bid on the electrical, with their price difference being about $185 difference. So it would kind of be it would be my suggestion to go with Falk and Sons for the sewer and water and electrical. And then, for the deck construction.
I just have some big concerns. It seems like we're going over the top of the scale house. I mean, sewer, water, I mean.
Well, we do,
This seems like an awful lot of money we're sinking into this thing. If we're paying for full automation, I understand the first year that we're gonna have a lot of questions, but doesn't it seem a little, I mean, we're getting into sewer, water, I mean, that's serious stuff.
I know it's serious stuff, you gotta have service to that trailer though.
I think, yes, it's a lot of money, but I think it's the right thing to do.
well, and I think we all can agree, we need the scale house out there at least for the first 6 months. And if you are gonna do the scale house, you're gonna need to do the electrical regardless.
Yeah.
The sewer and water, you can, I mean, I'd recommend it, but it could go without. The deck, we can't go without, with going between the deck and the, so even if you take out the sewer and the water, you're only taking out $2,300. You might as well, I mean, because Westar is having to put in a new transformer and a new pole to even power the thing. I mean, it's going to be a fairly permanent fixture regardless of if we went automation versus having a scale off out there. And just going around other counties, automation is beautiful when you have an overwhelming majority of your traffic as private haulers. They have their RFID, they have their truck numbers, they just go through, they get their ticket, they know exactly what to do. Unfortunately, we only have two companies that do. Well, we have Martin, Stephenbach, we have the city, who are gonna be our haulers, and then we have various construction companies coming through, but about 80% of our traffic is self-haul, and
It's the same as bulk materials, I mean, you go to grain elevator, you go to processing plant, it's the same thing, same dynamics.
but you're gonna have regular traffic with those, whereas we'll have once in a while traffic, we'll have first time people rolling up to it. Just for implementation purposes, the scale house is just going to make everything a lot easier because you're gonna have people that are gonna stop on the scale, get out, and wanna talk to somebody. I mean,
Well, I don't disagree with the scale house being out there, I'm just saying sewer, water, you know.
But is that the only concern? Because even if we had the FEMA trailer out there as a temporary, we still have to install some kind of electrical, because the scale has to have electricity as well. And we had, to operate the scale, we still had to put in the Westar we had to put in the, transistor, we had.
Is that out of our pocket too? The extra stuff that Westar is doing, is that additional?
That is an additional $3,000 to hook it up out there.
That's not on here.
That's a separate bid, because that's, I mean, Westar's the only.
So we're looking at, scale plus this projected plus Westar, and is there any other costs that we have?
Asphalt.
Well, yeah, I just saw that one, that was.
But that, again, the asphalt would have been regardless, whatever bid for the scale we chose, wherever we put it, we still need approaches.
You still had a $3,000 Westar hookup too as well.
That's
So you're basically talking, $4,200.
Well, more than that. You mean asphalt plus?
Well.
You got asphalt plus sewer, water, electrical, plus you get Westar.
Well, I tallied up our remaining.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Right.
What you said was 3,000.
But we're looking at, with the Westar and either the low bid, we're looking at 10.4 or 10.6, plus the asphalt is 14 on top of the 89 that we spent for the scale itself and all the hookups. So, 103,000, the 10,000, or the 14,000 for the asphalt, the Westar, and the additional hookups, we were gonna have to spend regardless. I mean, regardless of what scale bid we went with, that is just going to be an additional cost to setting up the scales. Providing power, providing the entrance, the roadways, I mean, that was just gonna be a cost that we had to spend.
I think you say the first year, if you get 100 trucks pull up there, you're gonna have 90 of you asking questions.
We've actually already had people pull on the scale while we were working on it. And just, I'm preparing for the worst, hoping for the best. It will be a transition for at least a month to 3 months of getting people to just pull onto the scale. I mean, we send out a flyer, and while we do that due diligence of letting everybody know, most of the time when we send out something, it causes more questions than it answers. So, the biggest thing is, if we can get it approved today, these last things, I did send you forward that email. Westar has already put us on the work order. As soon as we pay what they've quoted us, they can get everything ordered. But they are waiting on the FAA because of our proximity to the Amelia Earhart Airport. So, as ridiculous as it seems, we're they filed the application, yesterday morning, so it should be in the works. They don't know, this is one of the first times they've had to file a permit with the FAA. So I don't know what the turnaround time on that is, but the sooner that we can approve everything, the sooner we can have that operational so that we can do the install, the scale operating equipment, or software, and the invoicing software, depending on whatever, computer system you guys go with, because I've already talked to Wes, and, you know, if we pass a certain deadline of having whoever it is, Thompson Board or CIC, having something in place, if we don't have it, then, the next step would, I would have to recommend that we get the software, the accounting software that comes with, the scale. That is an option too, because we're gonna need it if we're gonna do invoices. We're gonna need a slightly more sophisticated, record keeping than just scratching it down on pieces of paper. So,
So you're recommending that we go with, use Vulcan because they can do sewer, water, and electric, even though it's a little over $100 more?
Mm-hmm. If we did like the full-on rubric, the cost would be number one, but the thorough, nature of when we walk through everything, Vulcan's was probably the most thorough about everything that we are looking to encounter, or all they did a good job of projecting out what everything that this, it's not gonna be one of those project creeps where you start with something and then, oh, by the way, we didn't bid this. They were thorough, they bid everything. It was about an hour walk around with them, so that would be, in addition to the cost, that would be my recommendation, if it was a thorough nature of their bidding process. So, Vulcan for sewer and water and electric, and then L&L, because they were $300 less than the next competitor for, the deck construction. So,
I share your concern with Jeff, but I think we're up against the.
I'm just worried about escalate, I mean, because when we originally estimated, we were thinking 89,000, now we're adding on.
well, the 89,000 was for the scale. We were gonna have to pay for
Electricity.
electricity, we were gonna have to pay for the asphalt.
Sewer and water is what is the biggest thing.
And
I look at it as getting the FEMA trailer for, I don't know what we get for it, or use of nothing. I don't know how you can have an office up there with somebody in there, and if you're concerned about getting it through their speedy, to spend $2,000 or whatever for the bathroom. I say, I can see that.
Well,
We're going to be there for a long time.
whether we did the automation or we did the scale house, we were gonna have to have a clerk there all the time. And
Well, we don't know that. I mean, we don't, because
You don't know
nobody
that.
out there's done the full automation systems, but I've seen the full automation systems and they work. You
They
have
work.
to
They
give
work.
that a little bit of faith in getting people used to using those. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have a trailer, I'm not, I think we need it there
If
first.
this isn't a new process, no, we don't need it, but this is a new process.
Well, and it
Oh, I
works.
don't disagree with trailer, it needs to be.
It works, the automation works beautifully if you have just an overwhelming majority, let's say like 80-90% of the vehicles that come to your transfer station or your grain depot or any, these are people that come there consistently, their invoicing is going to be consistent, they're on routes, I mean, they're part of the process. With a publicly operated transfer station, you don't know what's gonna come down Neosho Show Road, and you really do need to post signs and have someone there to direct a new, somebody that's new to
We may
the
get out
transfer.
of county, because if our tipping fees are assessed to neighboring county, we have two neighboring counties that are substantially higher than we are. So we could get some more on our traffic, I'm serious.
We probably.
And that's one that the Solid Waste Committee didn't establish yet, those rates for out of,
Well,
although it was
I think we need to establish those, I think we can. Yeah, but.
Well, no, out of county.
And
It also needs to be finalized on,
wait for residents in county? That was never, that's not been officially established.
It hasn't been officially established, but one thing I've communicated to people is 1,000 pounds. If you cross that 1,000-pound threshold per, load, and then you could also put in the resolution that you have, you give the transfer station employees, that operation, a little bit of, flexibility, because we're gonna see, if somebody's trying to game the system, they break that 1,000-pound load up into 4 trips over 1 week, you need to be able to bill accordingly, so.
Okay, let's act on this.
Okay.
Yeah. I move that we authorize, the bids, for sewer and water and electric to Faulkner and Sons in the amount of $4,264.10. And that L&L Construction for the construction of the deck, amount of $3,415. You have a question?
I have no discussion.
Okay.
I've had some work done by the Faulkner Center. Sometimes they're not, I'll be here today, and it's like 3 weeks, so I would have some date in that contract.
We haven't signed the contract too.
Well, yes.
We'll drop that up,
We've gotta have like drop dead dates, because we're end of October now.
From past experience, they get this job, then they get another job, and then, well, if you can do this job, you got it. Well, this job that they originally got just keeps
right.
pushed back. They do good work. They do good work.
The one thing is, after we approve it, then, letting Faulkner and Sons know and L&L so they can call Dig Safe, they can get that started immediately, and then we can work out the service agreement from there, and.
How did you propose it to him when he sent out? Did you send out RFPs to all of them, or how did you do that?
No, as I understood it, the RFPs, what was it, 10,000 is the threshold? 10, and the only one that exceeded 10 was, Martin's, and that's because they bid all 3 projects. I just made phone calls and had everybody out there and then explained, we need it ASAP,
Did you give them like a date? I guess I'm just asking, like, how did you tell them, like, were they bidding this, like, we're gonna be on this for about 3 or 4 months, or are they gonna?
I told them that they needed to start immediately, and that we do wanna have it done by, I think I said 2 weeks, but most of them were saying that if they could get the materials ordered and everything scheduled out, that most of this would not take a week to complete. It's just giving them enough time and fitting it into any prior projects that they have, so, once awarded, the process begins calling them up and saying, getting everything, concrete scheduling done, so that they know their deadlines, and if they can't meet that, then we can, like,
So if we'd have problems with, Fox Electric, that would be up to them to correct it, or we're working on it individually, we don't, who's gonna do it? Like, if we had a problem with electric.
if they could not complete what was
Complete
agreed.
or do something that was, something didn't work.
That would be a service agreement where they'd have to provide, a warranty of sorts, or.
My question was, will that be with their son, or will that be with Faulkner Son?
That would be with Faulkner and Sons. They're both gonna do, they're gonna do both projects. They're not gonna sub it out. Martin's was the only one that even brought up, subcontracting.
There's not a general contractor?
Hmm?
There's not a general contractor for oversight on these?
You're basically gonna have 3 different people doing the job.
Okay.
You're gonna have L&L Construction, you have problems with the deck. You're gonna have Faulkner Son for the sewer and the water, and electric, we don't know who they're gonna have. Somebody gotta be held accountable for that problem.
You mean, like, managing the timelines, or putting it into the service agreement that deadlines need?
Well,
Just a little confused.
quality, like, and who's gonna do the inspection, I guess, is.
Okay.
Who's making sure that what they install is done?
Okay.
So like, when we have, most projects that we would have, you'd have like typically an architect, or you'd have a general contractor, somebody would like be the person to go to, that would be like, that would oversee.
It's not that big a job, but it needs to be in the contract that
Somebody needs to check it out, or.
somebody needs to be accountable.
So you also need project exemption certificates for these, so they don't have to be sales tax. So even before they order anything, they need to do
Well, it's certificate of insurance.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what they got a minimum amount, or?
Work comp is just a matter of coverage, with general liability, we're only $1 million, $2 million.
Okay.
It used to be $1 million, seems like the last couple of years it's gone to $2 million.
Yeah.
$1 million claim is still pretty rare.
In the county's best interest, would it be better to have contract element construction, office center, sharing waste, or whatever it is, electricity, or just have one with office center?
I don't think it would really make a big difference.
Just put it all in the service agreement? Are these service agreement issues, or are they?
That's more like performance, I think we're talking about performance, aren't we?
Performance, yeah, and construction.
No.
Just because, okay, well, worst case scenario, somebody doesn't fulfill, we have an issue with this, we're in the end of November, and we've got, you know, just say we don't meet our deadlines, and all of a sudden we're in January 1, no tipping, or,
You can't operate the schedule.
or something happens, then we're in a world of, that's where it hurts us, and we're,
So we need to put in performance bond of some sort, or a performance
Yeah, or penalty.
penalty.
And, you know, the penalty could be equal to what you think the revenue would be. I mean, that's a real easy one to do.
That might change these bids too. Go ahead, it's not confidential.
That's true. It probably would. I mean, if they're thinking about it, it would, unless we give them ample time to get it done. And then they're also going to probably argue about, I shouldn't say argue, want to negotiate about clear working days and whatnot.
yeah.
But if they're saying it's a 2-week project, I don't see why we wouldn't have it.
That water is here, that'll all be done in one day, never deck out, about that, shouldn't take too long.
Yeah, I would think the deck would be filling up in half a day and more.
That would be able to get that sewer water for one day.
Is electrical underground then too, because it might have different, you know.
Well, they
I think they're going all overhead. I asked about going underground too.
It's gonna be overhead.
Yeah, that's the suggestion Pam said again, when she came out, she didn't like she voiced her opinion about how our setup is, and we said that's,
But now we got an FFA.
yeah.
That's the one thing was if we wouldn't have the FFA,
FAA.
or FAA, sorry. Yeah, that's FAA.
Why can't they put one of those, transformer type, like you see out in Marlette's yard, there's no lines, and they go from the pole down to that thing, and he went underground to his house?
That was
That's the cheapest way for them to do it.
well, it's the cheapest way for them to do it, and I also did explain to them our time constraints. And when you have to do boring under the ground, and she said that would add time onto what you have, and for what you need, the pole should be adequate. I mean, the KDOT requires like a 60-foot clearance, and there's the pole that's gonna exceed that, it's gonna be like 22 feet off the ground. So the clearance is the issue.
We're gonna have to have that at least 6 feet from off that blacktop, we have trucks going around the parking.
Yeah,
About those 16-foot there pole, because when you go down there, that might sag on that building.
the sag is 22 feet off the ground. And they're gonna replace the pole that they're gonna splice everything in. It's gonna be a brand new one, because it's gonna have, all the other stuff on it, so. And that's outlined in what they bid to us here. So, back to the 2 weeks from now, will be November 5th, so, should I say November 8th, or?
Yeah.
11th, that gives them 13 business days to work from today, is November 8th. Is that gonna be
We
that?
have to, we gotta have a contract, we have to approve the contract, yes.
So, put in the deadline, November 8th, and hopefully get everything finalized.
Monday.
Okay. well, Monday would then would put it at 10 working days. Or
Yeah, well, you know, probably that's just something we ought to get off because I think you just put in there 14 days, and if they wanna negotiate that, talk about clear working days or something. But you know, even at this point, if you put in 14 clear working days, we ought to be good to have it done. And if we have that kind of weather that happens where we get a snowfall and it's snowy or rainy every day between now and the end of the year, people are gonna, you know, we're just gonna have to understand, and you're just gonna have to understand. But I wouldn't anticipate that in what forecast. So, as a farmer, you know, be okay with it raining every day between now and then.
So we have a motion still on the table, so. I second that. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any discussion? Carried 3-0.
Can I get a copy of the bid?
yes, and we want to start do the West Star one as well.
It's only one, we just, yeah, we need to get it going.
Okay, so that would.
Well, I mean, I'm just curious, will it save us to go underground? I mean, if we.
It would actually be more expensive, because you're having to.
I'm just wondering about time. FAA.
That underground wire, you're gonna lose a little bit, it's gonna cost you quite a bit more.
Yeah.
But, like, to your point, we don't know how long.
I don't know how long the
take
FAA thing's gonna take.
That's true there too.
They come out of government.
Well, how tall is it? Poles going up down the road, well, if they want a foot shorter than wouldn't that?
The two poles that they're suggesting going in are going to be taller than the other poles, but not, like, we're not talking about like a radio tower, nothing that's flight instructions, but it's just the letter of their, in the proximity, we
Well,
want
I say we
to.
need to get a commitment for how long that FFA or whatever, how long that gonna take them.
Well, in the email that she said, she has no idea, because this is, I mean, they've never had to do that.
That's the scary thing about it.
So what we're doing.
Get the price overhead and price under and see if the difference is.
Yeah.
Okay, and then table it till Monday? Alright.
I don't know, well, I just don't know what number, I mean, how long is it gonna take FAA to, I don't know why you would.
They should be shut down.
I'm just interested why they have to do that, I mean, it can't be more taller than what's out there.
He said it's $1.
Well,
Just a little bit, because you have to account for the sag,
Oh, 6 to 8 feet.
I'd say 6 to 8 feet tall and full problem.
actually, I don't know if they that height, they just said tall.
To get a 16-foot height on, or 22-foot sag height, you know, you're talking probably another, let's talk 30 feet above the ground on a pole.
Yeah, obviously.
Roughly 28, 30 feet. And I don't know if they're right there now, probably 20s, 22-ish above the ground. Guess maybe.
That should keep me busy till Monday. And then, when is the last day that we can draft up something to put in the property tax center?
Talk to Sheila, 'cause I've already got them all. I don't think she's transferred them yet, but
Okay.
they're all ready to go.
Will they be sent out before Monday?
You'll have to talk to her. She's the one that.
Go, Bill, go on there.
I'd like to.
You need to talk to her as to, if she's the one that's gonna transfer the file. Let's just wait for it. So,
Okay.
I think she's gonna
be some new things going on out there. That's the best way you can notify people.
With the rates, $35 a ton for C and D municipal solid waste recyclables, and then if you're,
Hold on, you said hold on. You said some of municipal, you said $35 for,
municipal solid waste, C and D.
no, it's
Government
$12.50.
$12.50 for the city, but.
No, you said municipal.
Yeah, municipal solid waste is just a general waste.
That's a category.
It's a category.
Oh, okay.
Not the.
Municipal, I'm sorry.
Yeah, municipally hauled, it will be $12.50, but for everyone else's purposes, it's going to be $35 ton, $17.50 a half ton. If you're a self-hauler, you bring a half ton, 1,000 pounds, you're going to be charged $17.50.
What about out of county?
Out of county, we haven't set.
Solid waste committee are really efficient, I mean, when they
Well,
say cost,
they throw out a number of $1 bajillion per ton, because
it's just like 1,000 tons per resident was never, it was discussed, but it was never officially, I asked that the last meeting, like, if we're.
that was the numbers that were thrown around, and that was the suggestion, but they did give us a little bit of autonomy to be able to choose that, or set that rate, because that's something that's not real standard, but, we'll draft something with those numbers, and then, I don't know if you need to include out of county in the mailer, just because the more you put in there, the more questions you're going to have, and we haven't really discussed out of county, whether we accept D&D.
So you're gonna create a list of fees anyways for.
Well, that will happen going to the eventual resolution, that sets up the whole tipping fee. But as far as communication, the main thing that I want to communicate to people is that if you're gonna haul stuff to the transfer station, the only change is that you're gonna go across the scale, instead of just driving down the
So
shore.
are we gonna, I think if you bring a car, as long as you don't bring a trailer behind the car can just go around.
Nah, we batted that around, whether we say all trucks go on, all trucks is a broad category. I agree,
But you trying to monitor the first year of total tonnage.
I think that's what the solid waste committee was like, the tracking purposes was the only reason.
Well, then it's just.
Yeah, the one we have.
Every car comes on.
We'll have a true accurate way of what's all on, so that'd be.
Well, you can get an idea, I mean, there'll probably be a little discrepancy versus what you weigh on one scale and what you put on the truck, there'll be some, but you'll get an idea of what, you get, from the standpoint.
Well, their destination weight, so it really.
Yeah, we have to.
When you're tracking data, when you're tracking the data, that way you can at least mark, this is how, this self-haul, this is how much self-haul, this is how much commercial, this is how much cities haul, and stuff, you can get a pretty good idea.
Yeah, well, because currently, all we use to calculate self-haul is take all the nodes out, and whatever's left is assumed as self-haul. So, we have 12% that is just,
Some of it could be even out of county, out of state.
so.
When there's no tipping fee, there could have been, they're not checking stuff like it be out of county.
Yeah.
So you're gonna start setting people's accounts up during this trial period, you're gonna have accounts set up, but are they gonna have any kind of card or anything? I mean, like, would that be simpler if they had a number that they could put in their identification number to put in their?
We depends on how many different truck drivers, how many truck routes,
Well, I ain't talking about individuals. Just that,
Oh, no, individuals, no, there's gonna be no, exchange of money at the transfer station. Everything's gonna be invoiced, and we will get, as they come in, we will, if they exceed, that's the big thing, is if they exceed that 1,000 pounds, then we'll get their weight, but I've been out there consistently for the last 2 weeks, at least every day. The self-haul is, you're gonna have a few, but it's not real prevalent. You're just gonna, 1 out of every 100 cars is gonna be something that you need to send back across. Most of it's just, okay, go ahead. So.
I think a number system would be good for like your major haulers, because that way you just type in the number and you
Yeah.
have to wait till they pull up and who this and all that, like they do at the Grand Island Street.
The other thing we need to keep track of is like what's coming from the landfill at Effingham, that needs, because that really doesn't need to be, I mean, you may want to wait it, yes, but is that gonna be a voided invoice because it's the county collecting for the county?
Right, and
Not every load would generate an invoice, so you'd have to manually make the system generate an invoice.
well, he's stated we charge Martin's the big fee for the Effingham roll-off.
Yeah, but I don't think each load going across there, you'd have to manually generate an invoice for each account. So like, you go in, I pull in today, and I go out, it's not, the system's not smart enough to manually, like, already cut an invoice and mail it to me.
Once we have your mailing in, once we have your billing information, then yes, we can set up your account.
Okay.
So-
Then are you mailing after each load, or are you doing like monthly?
Monthly.
Okay.
It's gonna be monthly after the billing period, we send out all the invoices.
But
How much traffic-
somebody physically pushes that out. That's what I'm saying, somebody physically pushes the invoices out in the mail.
Yes.
So therefore, it wouldn't, like, automatically go out, you'd have to, somebody'd have to.
I mean, if somebody set up an automated system, that'd be great, and we still have time, and that could be a first year. Main thing is we just wanna get the invoices out consistently, and then after a year, if Martin, Steppenbaugh, or the big haulers wanna do an automated invoicing system, we can do that. And that's not a major concern. The major concern is just getting everybody to come across the scales at a reasonable speed and go from there. So. And then see if we can get in touch with Benton and get that straightened out and have it done Monday. So.
You would have a letter drafted up then, and if you want to get it, go ahead and maybe clear it, Pat or something, or Jeff or something, and check if she doesn't have to be going Thursday, we need to have it. I mean, we don't have to necessarily approve it, so you can look at something.
Okay.
And I just need a copy of it.
Did you get that, gentleman here a couple weeks ago about that one piece of ground that's vacant, and he was paying, it was a solid waste?
Cummings, yeah, property in Cummings.
Yeah.
I did not, did he give his name?
Claudia Robin.
Robin, yeah.
Yeah, two pieces, and one was vacant, or both was vacant, one came off and one wasn't, is that right?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Open.
I need to ask you.
Okay, that's fine.
See that. Or you call him now. Could you go ahead and announce your meeting on the 28th?
Yeah, 9 AM.
9/12.
And, the older Jews that we talked about, we need to get some money on the easement bridge. She had contacted me about, me at my office at 9 o'clock on Monday. I wondered about maybe having her come here. We have an executive session on preliminary discussions concerning acquisition of land, so that she wouldn't necessarily have to tell me everything, and we would only have to you, and then you would get back to me, and then we'd get back to her.
We're trying, we're just waiting back confirmation, but we're supposed to, do interviews for county coordinator, next Monday, so waiting to hear back confirmation, but one of them may be at 9:15, the other one may be at 10:15.
On the 28th?
Yeah, maybe Monday. But I haven't had confirmation yet back on 9:15.
What if we, It's not gonna take, what, 20, 30 minutes, or?
I wouldn't think so. I have a very brief court appearance at 9, but I could move that to 10
Or we could,
maybe even
maybe
11.
move it, coming in half an hour early.
So she's already scheduled to come at 9.
She's not scheduled, but she had asked about coming into my office. I've not gotten back to her yet. So, I need to, I think her son Stacy, I think is,
I'll be done by then. We're just pushing it up, so, yeah.
We were talking about doing interviews on Monday too,
Yeah.
at what time?
Well, we're waiting confirmation back from one of the candidates. We proposed 9:15 a.m., but we haven't had any confirmation back from them. We've got one scheduled for 10:15 p.m.
10:15?
Yes.
did you schedule an hour?
Yeah.
Okay, so 10:15 to 11:15?
9:15, yeah, 10:15, 10:15, 11:15.
So,
Yeah.
so if somebody wants to do, if somebody called in to set up an appointment, you more or less full then?
That opens us up, yeah, pretty much.
Well, you could do it at 11:15.
Well, yeah, but, yeah.
Well,
But we need time to discuss after candidates.
Candidates, we might have, ask a question the first candidate or something, so I'd say that thing's probably gonna be pretty full.
Mhm.
Well, so should I double voltages that we wouldn't have time to do it on Monday?
How urgent is it that we get, I mean, how hard has it been to get a hold of them, I guess?
It has not been. I think maybe her son is, she wants to have her son come. I think it's gonna be here, so, we could do it. I'm not sure it would take 15 minutes. If we did it,
And when we do that,
we'll probably be okay.
a week after, 2 weeks after.
Okay.
Or we did it at 8:30, we started at 8:30.
Okay, let's just do it. So we'll do it 8:30. We'll do it from 8:30 to noon, does that work for you? Okay. Next Monday.
8:30, next Monday, 8:30 to noon.
8:30 now?
Yes.
Did Chase go back into Dwayne, for that voicemail, Benton wants to participate, he can't get here today, but he'll be in town tomorrow, so.
You just went out afterwards. Yeah.
Right, but his number is 426-0621 if you want to call Chase.
I think I got it. 426-0621. Yeah, you want to talk. I'll give you Dwayne's number, he can call it, and he can, I assume he won't be able to act still till Monday.
Here's the thing, I just left it up there.
Okay.
Oh, he's back here, I heard.
I think that's Pat.
You think that's back here?
Pat went up that door.
Chase is back here.
Oh.
Mike Chase is here.
Let me give you Dwayne Coder's number, he can't get here to sign, but they want to participate, he'll be here tomorrow, he'll come tomorrow, so.
Okay.
Benton Township.
Okay.
What's the captain?
0001.
913-370-0277. I call him back here just as soon as he can, he called at 4:06. No, he didn't call at 2:46. Just set up something with him tomorrow.
Go.
And we'll approve that Monday,
All right. 9:15 confirmed.
9:15.
Yeah.
Oh, 9:15.
Larry Tucker? Mike, this is Commissioner Jeff Shealy up in Ashton County. We're just trying to give you a call for a conference call. please give us a call back at 913-367-8220. Thank you. We're late. We're the ones late.
Gail brought this in, but I have no idea what it is. It looks like a original, a credit card, but it's not one of the, so I just cut it out. I have no idea.
PCC for $100,000.
You want me to call and see if, usually it's not a credit card.
Yeah, it's a or it's got an actual account number. It doesn't have like a regular like 3-digit code on the back.
So just cut it up?
Yeah.
She's bringing her lawyer, son, I'm gonna bring my zipper. Lock it and throw away the key.
You got just a minute?
Thanks, so.
Yeah. Just real quick. That Intrepid, I think we're just gonna get rid of it. It needs a flywheel now. Like $1,000 to get fixed. We've been dealing with this thing about a month now. Finally figured out that it's a flywheel. So already put $300 and some into it. And, it's not worth $2,500 probably, because but we put $1,000 into it, and if we ever get our money back out of it.
So it's not like a head gasket, was that the one that you thought was?
No, that's a different commission. We're still limping that one along. The shop said they can't do it, it's front wheel drive, and trying to put that flywheel in, I guess you gotta drop a bunch of stuff out of it, and I don't think it's feasible out there to do it. we might try to get a couple more quotes on it, but I doubt it's gonna be much cheaper than, the rest of the tech one, that's what it's for us, but, just have to run short, because I mean, it's not. My personal opinion, I don't think that car's just been thrown on the side since we've had it, since I've had it. But, I mean, we can use that transport car if we need to for now.
What about that, well, who drives the red one? Is it Ryan?
That's what I'm talking about, the red one.
Oh, okay.
That's our transport vehicle, or.
I see what you're saying.
Well,
I see your van, sorry.
Well, we use the van typically for transports, but. Glad we use that for, certain process and stuff I'm doing, so. We'll try to see what somebody else would quote. After the Car City, I mean, that was their quote, like $997, something like that, 'cause they had a recall on it. That wasn't, ended up not being a problem anyway, so. But we had to run short, I mean, we were running short anyway, so it wasn't broke down.
I just have more work on it done, so I've been here then.
We just had a transmission put in it. I just don't know if we're sinking much more money into it.
What is it? What year and month?
It's got like 90,000 on it. Is it 04? Some trouble in it?
Sounds about right. Before,
Pretty sure it's 04.
County
Since
Commissioner.
it's 9 years old, or, well, 10 now.
It's just not a patrol-ready vehicle. You know, it doesn't take abuse like a Crown Vic would, you know.
My calendar is on 8220.
Hello? Hey, Mike, we're in, county commission meeting, and, we just want to touch base with you. Mike had a couple questions, and Bill and I might have a couple more questions for you real quick. Going forward, you got some time?
I do.
Okay. Mike, you wanna? Okay.
Yeah. All right, I know the plan that we were looking at, Mike, the main thing I wanna make sure that that this thing, what comes down to out of pocket, that, you know, we got basically the same coverage and employees don't have any, basically no more out of pocket, you know, that they have to come up with. Does that QA 2500, does that meet that or not? I mean, can we, is it fair to say that that's comparable to the plan we've got?
Well, total out-of-pocket wise, if you look on that spreadsheet, there's no page of the out-of-pocket maximum. You can go across the line and see how they compare to your first three. It's exactly the same as Plan C currently on the state.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, I see that, all right.
You know, if there's any HSA funding, you know, it could be the same or better than Plan A.
That's my take on it, what I see. One of the questions I would ask is that after, and I noticed even on the state plan, that some of the services rendered have, total insurance even after the deductible is met.
Right.
Whereas this one does, this is 100% after on all those issues after the deductible's met. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I think it's probably on there, there's no lifetime limits.
Correct.
Okay. I think that comes under the affordable care anyway, doesn't it?
Correct.
Okay.
Does that kick in January 2014? Is that when those kick in?
No.
Those have been in place.
They've been in place, yeah.
Oh, it's pre-existing conditions that kicked in.
Correct.
In January, I'm sorry. Okay, they're talking to it.
And preferred offices doesn't have any of those anyway.
Okay.
Not a change from the pre-existing condition.
But those are, I think, really the main things that I had, other than the fact that, we didn't really have any numbers run as to, at the level the county puts into the health savings account, then where would your totals, how much would your savings be? And, we hadn't really determined that.
Right.
And,
I think once the plan's chosen, then we can start getting into that. There's a million different things we can do. Maybe not a million, there's a lot of things we can do, strategy-wise on that.
okay. Well, I think, this is kind of new to me,
There's total flexibility on that portion.
Pardon?
There's flexibility on that portion.
Okay. Well, like I said, my key issue is in the way I was taking a simple individual plan, and when you prorated out what we're doing now currently, I think there's $20 difference out of pocket that a single or just a single employee would have to come up with versus the plan we've got now. If we contribute, $2,000 towards the health savings account.
Yeah, if you contribute to a single, if you contribute to the health savings account, the out-of-pocket for a single will be $500 total.
Right, but currently, there's a $300 deductible, and there's $15 a month, the way I understand it. So when you prorate that, that's $480, so there's a $20 difference.
Well, you included like they reduced their taxable income too, so actually it's even better.
It's more than that,
Yeah.
But I would add the co-insurance into that. So you've got $2,000 out of pocket on Plan A, plus the $15.
Oh, that's right, if it goes over, they got the co-insurance stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's actually better.
Yeah.
And with a $2,000 single HSA contribution, it's $500 out of your employee's pocket for the year.
Right. Whereas the other plan could possibly be, up to $2,000, you're saying. If there's a certain, with the co-insurance, is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Jeez.
Does that even, well, that's a whole different ballgame. Pharmaceuticals.
The HSA plan includes pharmacy.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like the Plan A right now.
The prescriptions would be additional.
Yeah, super.
Pharmacy accounting should be left alone.
Do the pharmaceuticals count against, towards your deductible on the health savings?
Yes.
Yes. And then do they have to be,
It's a whole different,
generic or?
you don't have that.
I thought we was talking one plan that was more advantage, of course, with the generic. I can't remember discussing it, but.
Yeah, that was,
That's over an option.
Option three.
yeah, kinda getting
Okay.
down here. That's,
Okay. Well, you're making it almost a no-brainer for me.
You guys are putting in a long day.
yeah.
It ain't over yet.
This Commissioner Poll, I think, Commissioner Bowden can kind of ask the question I want to ask you. How much should we contribute to the plans? For the deductible?
Well, it's hard to answer because, you've got savings, and it just depends how much you want to give back. I recommend they have some skin in the game.
Yeah.
Whether you give them $1,000 and they get $1,500 out of pocket for a single, it's still better than today. Those are $2,000 plus prescriptions. 2,000 is really good.
Would the 2,000 be like including like, slight wellness though? I mean, would that be part of that component they'd have to do?
We we can do that, sure.
I know you said it couldn't be too complicated in year one, but as far, I mean, that's something that takes a couple of years to establish, but so you could do something where screening or, I know you talked about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, so you could do 1,000, you know, just to help with the transition, and, you know, another 1,000 earned through wellness, participating wellness activities. Sure.
I think the wellness now is $40 a month, isn't it? So, I mean, that's comparable.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I don't know what all that entails.
So,
But I'd come back up and talk to you about it.
Okay.
We probably need to have.
Jackie, I'm calling 8201.
What's that?
Yeah, would he be available Monday just to have a brief?
Monday's pretty cool.
Okay.
I don't know if we have Boulder this time. Well, it'd be after.
I think we'll set up maybe an hour or two, and then if there's any questions, we move forward, or we need to discuss it a little bit.
We need to get something going.
We have to get something going, we have to make our decision,
Because
so
we've got
they know, and then
open enrollment
he
right
can
now.
come up and ask questions, or he can go up and answer questions, but it'll be a November meeting before we would do that.
So when would this start, January first?
January first.
And when would open enrollment be?
Between now and then.
You talked about like November, December, is that right, Mike, about as far as,
We probably need to get something in your, at least a memo that says that you're looking at different in this paycheck.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
mhm.
Or
Mike?
at least up to the department.
What would be like an estimate as far as like an open enrollment period?
Oh, I mean, yeah, you really get to decide how long you want it to be. Typically, we see a couple of weeks to a month.
I'd say at least, I'd say minimum 30 days is what I prefer.
We come up to meetings, explain everything to everyone, and then give them time, you know, to go home, talk to their families about it, decide what methods they want, get paperwork back in, and implement it for January 1.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's probably best maybe do like a December 15th cutoff, so we have time to get the forms processed and the carriers and get ID cards out.
Okay, so maybe like November 15th to December 15th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
rolling current HSA.
Yeah, HSA conversions, if you have an existing HSA account, is it similar like a Roth where you transfer those dollar amounts into the new HSA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what you got now? You got one?
Or you can, yeah, or you can just pull money out of that account till it's gone and open a new one.
NVUMB would be the HSA.
That's what it is.
You smart stuff with the other.
They've been just the longest, I think, of them. but-
You share with his buddies.
Okay, that's all I have.
It sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So we need-
Any concerns, Pat, or questions?
You just need to notify the state, and then and give a note, put a note in the
Memo.
memo. What decisions made.
Okay, we need to take a vote.
I'm ready now.
Okay, entertain a motion to accept proposal from Gallagher Benefits to provide
QA $500 option.
QA 2550 HSA option 2.
Option 2.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carried 3-0. Thank you. You have like an estimate, it won't be, we got a pretty busy schedule next Monday, then we got KC meetings down in Wichita,
Are they gonna be there?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Yeah, are you guys will probably be at KC meetings?
Why don't we try to get over here?
Okay.
Because you can't have a
Open meeting, yeah,
That's okay.
yeah. So like, as far as like, coming in, we're gonna need you right up here pretty soon to come up and start getting the education piece going. Okay. So that would be the next meeting date is going to be November 5th.
Well, they'll need me.
So if you can put on your agenda to come up to that meeting, we would appreciate it.
That's true. Thank you.
Yeah, we're pretty much open that, I don't think we have anything going out.
I got you down for 10:30 on the 5th.
like those, those.
Bye.
Pauline, did you get that? Yeah, November the fifth, 10:30, if you want me out.
Yeah.
November fifth.
Mary, what do you wanna go for?
At what time? Oh,
10:30. Yeah, it works best.
Weather,
It is.
sheriff's got one on too.
Oh, yeah. He's cold-blooded.
He's always.
As I get older, it didn't used to bother me to get out in the cold because you get the milk for it, you have the heat on, man, I tell you what, it's pretty, that day, I was done with building a house. What door do you think I go out? It's the north door. I don't have a little room to block it. Once you open the door,
Yeah.
it's there.
Yeah.
Who would type up, so.
I put 11, I put somebody else in the
10:30?
Yeah.
Just have Paul, you can't all be out there.
Yeah.
Or you can do it, you
Either one of us, somebody needs to send out a ballot.
Just send me the information, I can send it out.
Okay.
When's your paycheck go out, Thursday?
Friday.
Friday?
I mean, we have something, business house is coming up on,
Aston Hospital Business Hall.
when is it?
they just said,
They're coming up to do flu shot.
2010, well, we can do it somewhere else,
But when is it?
What day is it?
When did she say? November 1st. So if you wanted to flu shot, November 1st, I guess you bring your insurance card and they'll charge to pay your insurance.
I just send it out to those.
Is that going out in the each
It's going out in
paycheck?
the paycheck.
Yeah.
Keller Benefits?
Gallagher.
Oh, Gallagher.
Yeah.
It's actually $8, but it's.
Yeah, Gallagher.
Okay.
Yeah. Put that on your.
First, and then my card due for November 1st, 10 to.
Yeah, November 1st, 10 to 15, one flu shot. Business house.
I don't want to get paralyzed.
It's all Saints Day.
Yeah.
If you bring a
All Saints Day.
copy of it, probably be easier. Well, I guess you got a copy machine.
Yeah.
You said 10 to noon?
10 to noon.
And anybody with Blue Cross, it should cover it, A, B, or C. I don't know about the other plans that we offer coverage or I don't know what they,
They should.
I'm sure they probably do.
And where are we doing it at?
Here.
Up here.
You don't have any place, very many places.
This is fun.
Ten to noon. The blue shots. Yes. Mary, we're having, next Monday, due to KC meetings, we're having a meeting from 8:30 until noon, next Monday.
We'll be acting on the revitalization. Benton has signed, but they just called, and they're coming to town to sign the papers tomorrow. So we'll officially renew the revitalization on Monday.
Okay.
It'll be 8 years. For 8 years instead of 4.
I read that in Adam's story. What's it say?
I read Jeff's email earlier today, 'cause I've been out of town. That pretty much answered your questions, didn't it?
Jeff's.
Oh,
All the questions, is that what you needed, or?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much,
I think that's pretty much good explanation of things.
Yeah. Okay. Tried to go through and remember as many things as I could, so.
Unless, is there something you guys wanted to add to that?
You know, it's covered at that time.
Ditto. Said exactly
Easy
what I
button,
said.
easy button.
Okay.
Probably said it a little bit better. I'd probably not been as easy.
I had about four plates for him, and just kind of keep shuffling around.
We're trying to keep these letters on the lake.
Yes, just keep, like.
We had a hearing on the lake today, and there was approximately
10 people.
10 people, fishing approximately 37 letters or something.
Yeah.
Had signatures.
Several letters.
And then we had some others.
Some good points that we got to take into consideration, so.
I'm sorry?
The alligator was here.
I didn't realize that's who that was.
I didn't really
I don't know what you're talking about.
My name didn't ring.
Yeah.
Well, his family, that's the property that the lake
Correct, he told us
built
that.
on, yeah.
I believe there was 3 gentlemen here that their family had some connection. You know, 4 acres was mentioned off of one place.
Well, he said that Mr. Pedersen said that he was not there. That was
Peterson?
Peterson, that's on P-E-D-E.
Well, he says he remembers it, but if it was built in 35, and he's 85, why? He wasn't very old.
One of the deeds said that it would revert back to him.
I've not read it, I was basing it on my discussion with Roger, who had done the file work, so.
Well, I think we do have to check out the urine there, and I had Lynn Jenkins office working on it, but I don't think they found out anything back in Washington, what they, you know, because with the WPA getting closed,
Right.
who knows whether the records back up, you know, they can access those records or not, so.
Yeah, that's something I never even thought about that. Yeah, we need to put in a file.
Well, then, get back on the insurance real quick, so I can just explain to some of the people that, this first year, is there gonna be probably a little more leniency on what's contributed by the town, or is it, gonna be, I mean, more of a, health?
I think that if you probably heard towards the end as far as what we contribute to each person, when you get, he explained it like it's like a 3 to 5 year process, and it, as far as like setting up like wellness initiatives, it's a little bit harder to jump in, hard to do like a lot of different things, so we can do it as simple or as hard as we want, but I think when he comes up here on, November 5th, we'll try and do some planning as far as, he had suggested it initially like on deductibles, that you set it just below what the deductible was as far as contributions, you take those savings, from the plan and put it into, contributions, so.
Okay. I got the feeling that we're not gonna, give them more than 3 years down the road, change our amount that we're willing to pay, or once we start off with whatever, we're gonna.
Yeah, I think they said like as you get into year 2 and 3, just do a few components where you have to, you know, to earn earn that additional amount, I believe is what he said.
You mean like they do now with the wellness thing, you have to do that?
Yeah. If it's similar to what the city has, or if it's the same, I know.
Like screenings is one thing they
Oh,
suggested,
screening.
he said everybody's gonna need to do that anyway.
If you participate, you get the money, and then plus
Yeah.
there's like bonus, gift cards and stuff like that to give on top of it, so I mean, it's not
He talked about
just the contributions, there's other benefits to it, so.
Yeah, he talked about that, I think that's what he said, there's a lot of, that's why he said there's not
Well,
millions.
he threw out several different options, I mean, you can go with, we'd have to get a health committee formed, written on to us,
Yeah, we probably should do that initial, you know, we could talk with a few members that were on the insurance committee and then add a few more to that.
Well, that would be, if we can get that going, then that would give you the option of even implementing a minor part of that to begin with. And,
And it's basically once you meet your deductible, that's it.
100%, that's better than the state plan.
Much better.
And it's quite a bit better than what it's currently at.
You know, because
The insurance company is.
I didn't really think that, and
Is there like vision care in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It'd be the same vision dental you already have, I think, right?
Yeah, Delta Dental,
yeah.
Vision,
Yep.
where the Vision, I think, is more optional, yeah.
Well,
It's optional
well,
for
there was
employees.
basic, and then you can do the enhanced, where the employees picked up the difference, I think.
I think Vision.
That's what we have now.
Yeah.
Vision is voluntary.
It's a voluntary, there's two different types of vision, but,
But it would be the employees.
yeah, because the
If
idea would be.
employee wanted it, then.
Yeah, well, the idea would be like, you could use your HSA money to do the exams, equipment, et cetera.
Well, there were so many of us, like them, there were so many bids, was 100% paid, and so many, your eyeglasses or two. Yeah. It was better than what the current had, or current medical features.
I think that was under this other option 3, I think, Richard. Was that where your vision is covered, or the eyeglasses?
I think it was all of them, but.
Yeah,
And that
well,
was booklet.
okay, under that, yeah, okay, I said, yeah, let's see, vision is the county don't cover vision.
And the county's contribution was coming at the beginning of the year, or was it installment?
I don't know if we discussed that. Did you hear the question?
What's that?
The county's contribution would be at the beginning of the year for the HSA, or would it be a monthly installment?
We thought that'd be like,
Quarterly or annually?
The cities, they did theirs in the beginning of the year.
I think that's what he suggested.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it.
we'll take his lead on it, I mean,
or at least a good portion of it.
I think he mentioned.
Because remember, we had a
Twice a year, but he
discussion.
wasn't in favor of monthly.
We had a discussion about whether people would quit right after, and he said, people always worry about it, but it rarely happens.
is yours,
We have
you
more
have your account
problems
set
with
up, you
senior village, so, yeah.
I did,
That
I
would be my
transferred it
plan.
to the one here, at US Bank, and so I was gonna open that account back up or whatever. Cause I had UMB when I was working there.
Yeah, he suggested UMB because of his reason.
Well, they're like,
They're only-
they're number one in HSA, they're like the first ones, I think, to jump on it. I think, oh, you could shoot that was,
Ours is US Bank, I think, we have currently.
that was like the nineties or something, like late nineties, I think, is when I first saw them getting.
Well, that's the first time the bank got into it. See, earlier, the insurance company handled all that. That's why I shied away, because the insurance company goes, it's not usually your account. I come back, close signed up for it back in 1991, right when it first came out. And my last question I asked the guy, I said, well, what happens if your insurance company goes broke, what happens if I'm not insured? And I said, see, now we're bank, it's better than insurance. That's the one improvement they have.
They have some contract money.
I'm on that, for sure. Some of the questions they asked. Well, somebody in charge of our investments, so we can make more money. And our sales person says you definitely do not want to be comfortable to do that, because if they lose money, they say, when you build it up, you can leave it, you're not investing.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't want to go down that road.
Well, it seems to be better like a cafeteria type thing, if you can withdraw with the penalty at a later time if you want to, be taxed on it. The way I understand it.
I don't think we look at it.
Yeah.
A tax penalty, you get a tax on it.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want with it, but if you're not doing a qualified expense, you get taxed.
Which I noticed like with the one we have now, well, maybe it's just Walmart, but I'd try to buy some, Claritin or something like that with it, and it wouldn't let me unless I had a prescription from the doctor, so.
That was a change about 2 years ago, federal
I
government.
never had that problem with the city ones, but I just got prescribed, and it's no big deal.
Federal government changed, that was one of the changes they made, and they did that to FSA accounts too, you had to get a prescription for over-the-counter stuff, where before you didn't. I don't know why they put
They just
that
don't
up.
say keep the receipts and turn in their taxes or something.
Yeah, so if you basically have to go to a doctor, like, you know, for a while there, you could deduct like Tylenol, antacids, everything, and then that's where the federal government came in and changed, you have to get a prescription from your doctor, which,
I think Mr. Geller also said that it's to the employee's benefit if they could use generic drugs versus name brand drugs, so it's gonna save them money.
Well, they ask, so I don't think on the plan we have now that they don't even ask or care because they know they can push it through on the name brand drug.
yeah,
I mean, like a doctor just writes the, whatever it is, and then they give you the name brand, because your card doesn't say generic on it.
Well, if your drugs go towards your deductible, look, you know, really.
$500 out of your pocket, or whatever.
Yeah, right, that's.
Best case scenario, you carry money over the next year, then you won't have to worry about it, you know, as far as hitting your deductible.
Correct.
And you get ahead, and then,
Yeah, I wouldn't advise everybody to pull every penny out of it every year.
well, I mean, well, 1 year, you might have something bad happen. That 5,000 in there would be nice, you know, or whatever, 25.
let's increase that, I think, every year, it's increasing next year, I think, maximum contribution limits into HSAs. I think it goes up to like 100, the thresholds on the sheet with the maximum.
So the max you can put in monthly, yearly.
No, like, yeah, annually.
There's more, but I can't find any more.
Remember that was bad.
I have a question.
Let's figure that out.
Maybe Jackie, what time is that sheriff's sale on November sixth?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
10 a.m.? And what investment payment do you have to have?
Cash, personal check, or doesn't have to take personal check.
They won't take personal check.
You have to have a bid number. To get a bid number, you have to sign an affidavit that you're eligible to bid. There are a great number of people that are not permitted to bid and sale. Well, if you have delinquent taxes on all properties.
What if you're out of county?
No restriction there.
I have to read the statute to look at it.
Now, where do you get the bid? Do you come down to Pauline, or where do you get
No,
that?
my office will do that. We'll do them, that morning before the sale.
You'll have,
So you're gonna be up here to do it?
Yeah.
How can we send a county commissioner or one of his friends to buy property?
And you have signed an affidavit that you're not friends with any county commissioners, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
For you.
There, that's good, sure.
You got rough in here.
so we're not,
No. You didn't see him winking, go look at the video.
I'm not able to.
Is there gonna be somebody there, because I'm sure people are gonna have some questions after they have all the questions asked before the sale?
I will be there, and I'll have a little script, I guess, that I'll go through and read and answer any questions if there are any. Make sure everybody has a bid number, if they won't bid. The redemption only goes up to the day before the sale. You cannot redeem the day of the sale.
That's gonna be my next question.
I think that's been a problem in the past with people coming in at, 9:45 to redeem property. And that's not allowed under the statute. It's the day before the sale.
24 hours,
Well, it doesn't have to be 24. They can redeem it for 50.
Oh, okay. As long as it's the business day ahead of the sale.
Yes.
So are they going to, pay for, you'll collect for the deed money too, right?
Yes, yeah, I think that there's a minimum bid of $20.
And I think to file the deed.
Which is going to cover, it's going to include that.
So there is a starting bid.
$20.
Where are we gonna set? Steps?
From front to the front,
The printer's office?
You're gonna need tiles.
I don't know how,
Is there a heater?
For what? For you?
I haven't really thought about that, you can see how many people there are here.
It's easy,
Freezing
Pay for the
cold,
fee.
up here or something.
Wednesday, in the quarter. There's a lot of.
well, gosh, they would've had it done, cause you would have to contact all the plumbers.
Title search has been done, so that will be on the fee on the buyer or what?
It will not be a fee to the buyer, if it was done, it's a fee if they want to redeem the property, they pay that back.
Yes.
Not if
The current owners.
Right. But for example, if you own property that's in the sale, you can't buy it.
Daughter, son, king.
They cannot.
They can't.
No, there's a risk payment, they just cannot as well.
How long has it been since we've had tax sale?
8 or 9 years ago.
It's been a while.
Should have that wrong. Should have one every year, 2 or 3 years.
Then you wouldn't have such a big list, I mean, I can imagine if you,
Well, then you get the message out there, you pay your taxes, you want to sell your property.
Have you been practicing community auctioneering?
I wouldn't expect
Yeah, we don't
too
do
pretty
that.
of a performance, but.
You're gonna kind of say,
sheriff bill.
you have to do all the calling.
Sheriff execution sale.
Yeah.
No, that's just the way that they are. Both sheriffs are.
How many parcels are we down to now?
Maybe we do several, you know, some of them auction.
Nobody's come in to review. Lists are available and
Online,
I get property on sales tax.
I think we have more than 31.
I did too, I thought we had like 47.
There could have been some that were needed.
Have there been some that have been redeemed? or-
well, I thought it was 31.
It's on the front of your, on the front page.
It's just, no, what is it, Jones? Truck seven,
Right, but
they're missing.
like track one is not in the sale anymore, because it was redeemed, So not, you can't go by that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that we need. They get the discouragement, so.
40.
The price of one.
According to the website, 40.
Well, that's right.
Okay.
Bye.
Now, if the, so that they need to know who the purchaser, I mean, if somebody's buying on behalf of somebody else, how does that work?
I don't understand the question.
He's saying that he
What
has
if
no
I'm buying,
interest in.
I want to put your name on it?
Can you have a proxy there to bid? Is that what you're asking?
No, what I'm saying is if I buy it for somebody else, once we pay, even though I'm giving my personal check, the new owners, can the new owner's name go on, or do you have to match the check? And then make it,
Well, I think it's gonna have to match the bid number.
so in other words, what's gonna go on a deed or title is gonna be,
Can you have, so-and-so church, bid by Mike Buttonhouse, can you say something like that in your bid? I'll just use an example.
Sure. Yeah, I would think so. And you know, Mike, it might depend a little on the, what we're talking about too, because I think it might be a little different if it's, and it's got to pass the smell test too, I think.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
if Benedictine College comes in and wants to bid on some property, and, probably not gonna be as big a deal as if it's, some brand new corporation that's owned by somebody who has been on delinquent tax sale before.
Can we legally, because I look, the one that's delinquent in the second half, same thing, time after time after time. Can we legally say, okay, if you've been delinquent on your second half for X amount of years, you gotta pay all up front?
No.
Can't do that.
Property goes on after you cover that.
It's the same thing, so pay the first half and the second, okay. They don't go as far as
So the new property owner really won't pay property tax until the following year.
taking that day forward, wouldn't it?
They will pay from the last day it's in the judgment. So there can still be taxes that are, from the filing of the petition, those taxes are still going to be owed. Does that make sense?
I'm sorry.
I thought anything, I mean, 2012 taxes, people are gonna owe,
Yeah.
not the 2013 they will owe, because that's just getting out.
Right, right.
So there'll be, once that sale happens, there will be a new tax statement coming out for that property.
No, probably not till the,
Yeah, but
2004.
oh, yeah, they were coming out when the November tax statements come out, yeah.
But
Yes,
it's gonna be in, it's not gonna be in,
That's
it's
confusing.
gonna be in the old.
Well, they have to pay this all the way to.
Yeah, we were sending that today too, by the way.
yeah,
So
it'll still be in
we
every
send it.
person's name.
That was, maybe
Copy of the rules that I.
Yeah, 2013,
I can get copies.
resolution 1376.
That or I'll visit with you ahead of time, so make sure.
I always thought we had a
Prior to
sales
that, we
tax.
approved the
Whatever that
interlocal
was.
agreement on sales tax with
That's
all
what
the
the
cities.
county gets, and that, if that
That
takes
was
care of that
resolution
tax, all right,
2013,
the new buyer would take and pay the taxes from that day forward.
Well, but it's
You
due
get
the date of the.
Yeah, that's what I just told her, that was 1376, right?
So would they all have the same date?
Yeah.
So you're gonna announce that.
So we get that back then, okay,
What's that?
the prior year?
So do you know when that, what day that would be? Roughly how much
I thought
taxes
that they
would
would
they
have
owe
paid.
on it?
No.
A full year,
Sorry,
6 months,
2012.
I'm sorry. I
That's
probably
gonna be a
should have
question,
that, but
that's gonna be a question they're gonna be
Yeah,
asking.
you're definitely right, Will.
I thought they would know like in 2012 for some reason. I thought it'd be the preceding, the current tax year, so that'd be 2013. And then before, is what they would owe tax.
I thought it'd be after maybe the last time the rise of the taxes would start quickly.
That's what it said. All 2009 and prior years' taxes will be discharged. Purchaser will be responsible for payment of all taxes and specials for 2009 and subsequent years.
I think that's probably 2010. 2010 taxes don't come out until November of 2010, so most people consider this 2011.
Yeah, it's just that this is not number 6. It says, all 2009 prior years' taxes will be discharged. The purchaser will be responsible for payment of all taxes and specials for 2009 and subsequent years.
Well, honestly, I suggest if you want to have a discussion about it, could we have a discussion, hopefully a discussion about it, maybe a little more prepared to answer those questions. I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to it, so.
Okay.
You probably need to announce it if we're on property.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, there will be $642 for the new buyer back taxes.
Yeah.
That's where you can start to bid, probably.
You're right, it should be announced so everybody knows what they're on, right, absolutely.
So let's say they bid $642, that would go towards their back taxes? No.
No, I don't think so, I
I don't think it would either.
don't think it does either, so, as I said, if you want to have a discussion about it on Monday, I'd be happy to try to be prepared for it.
Let's come to it.
Can you get their number too, because?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2014, it's, individuals 3,300 are max contributions, HSAs and 65.50 per family. And then HSA catch-up contributions, age 55 and over, 1,000.
65.50 annual?
Yeah, family, so that's employer plus employee max contribution to do in 2014.
You get that on us.
No, we don't put it on.
No, like, it's employee plus employer.
Oh.
That's the max, so like, employee can put additional money into,
I see, okay, the business.
yeah, so like an individual, like 3,300 individual, so I mean, like, employer plus employee max would be
So you're
3,300.
not playing that hip replacement or something like that?
Hey, look out.
Yeah.
And there is some other things that you could buy for, special things. You broke a leg, you could pay so much, and you could flex something, they'd write you out a check for so much.
Oh, you're talking like the accident insurance and the.
It's disability, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Even not just-
Colonial or
it doesn't-
Aflac, I mean, we have Colonial or Aflac right now.
Yeah.
This was that flat, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, those are Aflac products.
Yeah, we have, you can get Aflac.
Aflac.
Sure, this is, we'll be adjourned at, 5:00.
Number 9.
You too.
That's Jack, I'm not gonna second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Who made a motion to do that?
Me?